This podcast is brought to you by JList.com. JList has new Nendoroids on pre-order. We all love our cute little Nendoroid figures. They have Captain Marvel Hero Edition Nendoroids. They have two different varieties of Captain Marvel. They have Mako, an all-new Mako Mankanshoku from Kill la Kill. They have Rin Shimai minifigures from Yudu Camp riding on her little motorcycle. They have all-new Goblin Slayer, very badass-looking Goblin Slayer figures. They have Antakamaki from Persona 5. They have Kirito from Sword Art Online, Rising of the Shield Hero, and so much more. So you can head over to JList.com or the non-adult mirror site JBox.com for all your Nendoroid and anime figure shopping needs. Now it's time to start the podcast.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at AAAPodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 478 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
Yeah.
We have Mandy jumps right in. Mandy, what is the mission of this anime podcast?
To make your anime addiction worse.
That's fucking right.
Get it.
So worse.
Mandy
So
calling in
worse.
from the north. She is the north wind today. She
I'm
is
the north
hailing
now?
on. That's right.
Where
You're-
am I?
I thought we established that she was Weast.
You're
I'm
the
least.
You're the most north, sort of, because you're in Cincinnati. So how are you, Mandy?
I'm definitely the most north.
You're in the
feel
east.
like Mason's more north. Mandy's Weast. I'm east.
I'm
Okay.
You're
Okay.
somewhere else.
All right. Let Mandy tell us how she is. Mandy, how are you?
Hi, I'm Midwest. Hi, thanks. I'm happy to be here.
I'm Mandy from the
I'm Mandy, Midwest.
We also have Mason and Enzo, both from the Northeast, having somewhat of a rivalry going on because well, you're in Connecticut, so you're not really Boston. So
They're both
No.
East.
No.
starting with Mason, he's back again. How are you, Mason?
Yes, indeed. I'm great. I am not Midwest, so I'm doing good.
And of course, we have Enzo coming back from his long trip through. I guess you were in California, you were in Chicago, you've been all over the place. So how are you?
Yeah, it's been crazy. I'm so sorry for missing I don't even know how many episodes it was already, but I'm so sorry about that. I missed you guys a lot. I am Enzy from the East. And here we are.
That's got a nice ring to it. And the
That's
chat,
what
I'm
from the
saying.
East.
That's why I said it.
and the chat
It's
is
like-
glad to have you back.
That's like your
Oh,
wrestler
bye.
intro.
Yeah, Enzy from the East.
For those of you watching live, there's a new section on the Discord called Live Stream under the AAA podcast section, and you can go on the Discord and you can sort of follow along with us. We'll post images and things like that from the anime, from our discussions, and you can post things as well. I think, are they able to post or just read things?
Just read, because
Okay.
that way it stays clean.
That way it's not
Yeah,
chaotic.
no clutter. It's really just meant for a reference area. It's a really
Okay.
good idea, man.
All right, so if you want to contribute to the podcast, you can go to our website, AAAPodcast.com/join. We just did a Hobby Addicts episode. You get 8 additional exclusive episodes a month just for helping out the podcast a little bit, helping us keep having the money to keep the lights on, feel the love, all that. But we just did a Hobby Addicts. We were talking about Warcraft 8.2. We talked a little bit about the FIFA World Cup. I talked about another mountain climb that I went through. And Enzo talked a little bit of PayPal, pen pal action.
PayPal, baby.
PayPal.
I did a 5-minute presentation on PayPal.
PayPal, yeah.
No, I talked about having I have 2 new pen pals for the last couple of months. I wait to talk about it now because we've had some back and forth finally, and it's been really nice. Can I say one more thing before we get started, guys?
You may.
It's currently Pride here in New York. I don't know if it's probably Pride everywhere. So shouts out to all of my friends and family and all the listeners that are LGBTQ+. Today's
This is Pride Month.
It's Pride Month. It's been in New York. It's like Pride Week. So shouts out all y'all. I love you guys. Thanks for being here too.
And I just want to say before we get started that after the podcast today, we're going to be doing a hentai episode. We're going to be doing our reviews from the June 2019 month, and then we're going to pick hentai for July. So if you want to listen to the madness that is our hentai episodes, again, it's AAAPodcast.com/join. And, of course, you want to join the Discord as well. We got so much stuff going on in there. We got Mandy's Manga Club, which seems to be growing exponentially.
Exponentially, fam.
Last week we read Vinland Saga, and that was fun. But right now we are reading House of the Sun. It's the first shoujo that we've done in a while. So, if you want to join, just come to our Discord, go to the Manga Club, and a little tab, and then you can see the PID notes there on what we are reading, the times, and the chapters, and so on and so forth.
We also have Mason's Run with the Discord, which is a running club inspired by Run with the Wind. And I don't want to speak for Mason, but I might be saying that there may be a lift with the Discord.
Oh shit, we lifting now?
It's on the horizon.
Oh yeah, we should.
Now we shooting in the gym too. Fuck, let's go.
We're getting that fit status on, but
right.
More details to come. But I think we'll be talking about that in a little bit.
Gonna be some strong nerds on this Discord, man.
It's the plan.
If you want to show Icy Rose the love, you can head over to our Discord or Facebook. Icy Rose is the master of all social media and all things AAA podcast related. So head over to our Discord or to our Twitter or to our Facebook page, and you can show Icy the love.
Yep,
guys.
Any question at all?
Literally
any
anything.
question at all? Ask Icy Rose.
I'm fairly confident he knows more about this podcast than I do. So.
I think he's proved that time and time again.
I think he has.
Oh, yeah.
So, you guys...
Anything about any of us, ask him.
Guys, are you ready for...
You said that? And I was like, I said that? I don't remember that.
Are you ready for a jam-packed episode today? We are doing...
We got so much to do.
Summer 2019 season picks and a review of the much-loved The Promised Neverland anime series.
So excited.
One last thing, I know there's so many things. Before we start, I am currently preparing new episodes of Does Mitsuki's Mom Know? So we can jump back in and have more fun with that. My mom hasn't been around in a while, but I'm going to try to find a way to get some recordings done. And without further ado, I know we've been delaying a little while. Let's get started.
It's time for big news of the week.
I think Mandy put this in here, so Mandy, why don't you take it?
Oh, okay. So our big news of the week: Sony, HiveMind, and Square Enix are creating a live-action Final Fantasy series.
What?
Television series.
Fuck? Really?
Yeah, apparently.
Not what I thought you were gonna say.
Sony Pictures Television and HiveMind announced on Thursday that they are entering a collaboration with Square Enix to develop a live-action Final Fantasy series based on the Final Fantasy XIV MMO. The series will take place in Eorzea. How do you pronounce it?
Wow.
Eorzea.
Eorzea.
No,
I played this game and I still
Eorzea.
Eorzea.
And it'll be the first live action that is based in the game. Of course, there was Dad of Light that came out recently. That one is not in the game, but it is. But the game is a part of the the building of the relationship between a son and his father. Ben Lusting and Jake Thornton from Winter's Night and the Wells Initiative, two things I've never heard of, are writing the series. They said the series will explore the struggle between magic and technology in a quest to bring peace to a land in conflict. And it will feature both original and returning characters, as well as the first live-action debut of Sid.
Oh, shit.
And it will incorporate Final Fantasy XIV trademarks such as chocobos, Magitech, beastmen, and airships.
I don't know.
And I think this is going to be very weird. I have no idea how this is going to end up.
Here's what I got.
Okay.
The Final Fantasy XIV world is rich with the potential for this. Do I want this? Have I ever wanted this? No. And I have over 450 hours on this fucking game. And I still am like, damn, I guess I'm getting this. But I guess we'll see.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
I don't see how those characters are able to be like. Imagine a live action Mikote or Mikote, the cat people.
That's what I'm worried
about. It's gonna look so weird.
Well, you're gonna have these like. This is not gonna happen. Hey, girl. And you're gonna have people wearing cat ears that are so fake.
Oh, baby, give me the. Oh God, give me those cat ears.
Jesus.
I don't know.
This is gonna be me the whole time.
Man, maybe my hot cat boy.
Hey
will be in
girl.
it.
Maybe you're hot.
so
Maybe you're
fine.
cat boy.
My cat boy character
pretty
in Final
hot.
Fantasy. I play a cat boy in Final Fantasy 14, and he looks like the main character of every anime.
Ever, but just with cat ears on.
Yeah, he looks super edgelord, black with like red hints in his hair.
The red frosted tip. I remember. I know what you did.
Can you imagine live action Lalafels?
Oh my.
Oh, they're
God,
gonna
I
look
forgot.
so
How they can
cute.
do that?
Yeah, how they gonna bring those potato butts to?
Some potato
screen.
butts.
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
Are they going to be CG?
I
They would
hope-
have to be.
We
right?
need
Hope
the
not.
Detective Pikachu CG people to work on the chocobos.
They don't have the
Yeah.
money
Oh,
for that.
yeah.
I need that texture. I need that
Yeah.
texture. In
They
there.
don't have the money for it.
They definitely do not have the money for this. Sony
Yeah, I
is
don't
not
know
throwing
how-
their eggs in this basket. That's for sure.
Sony
Yeah.
Sony and Square Enix they're not above fault with this whole thing. Does anybody remember the literal catastrophe that was The Spirits Within that almost bankrupted Squaresoft back in the
Yeah.
day? Now Sid, this may be the first live action debut of Sid, but those graphics were realer than life, and Sid was in that movie. So let's give
But
it
he wasn't a real life person.
He was real to me. Damn it.
Oh, okay.
Still real to me, damn it.
Real to me, damn it.
Anyway, so that was good. That's a good little. I'm excited for it. I mean,
It's gonna be weird as shit.
yeah.
I have to
Yup.
watch it for that.
You guys know this is complete sidebar. Do you guys know the meme? And she is gorgeous to me. That one? No. All right. Let's go. Let's just go. Let's just
You gave us so much time to answer.
roll it on. Roll on. Let's go.
皆さんおめでとうございます Join us in Enzo Senpai's Notice Me corner.
It's back
It
at
feels
long
so good
last.
to say this. This is Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner. You guys can write into me and we can read your thingy-majig because you are celebrating stuff and we want to shout you out for that. This one comes in from ZHawk93 and they say, "Hey AAA hosts, I'm one of your Canadian listeners. Happy face. Thank you very much for being one of our Canadian listeners. After many years of temporary contract work, I finally secured a full-time IT support job. The only downside I had was the commute to my new role is an hour and a half long drive. After listening to various anime music stations, I started to realize I needed something more to keep me entertained. I decided that I should find an anime podcast to listen to. After a brief searching, I found about you guys. I have to say you guys are doing an amazing job at keeping me both entertained and alert behind the wheel."
Oh.
I'm sorry. That's because of Brooklyn. I'm sorry. P.S. The one thing I need to remember is not to roll down my car windows when I'm listening to the hentai episode.
Yeah. Probably don't do that.
Don't do that. No.
Especially for reading fan or
Especially when
fanfics.
reading
I'm gonna
fanfic.
sit on your face. Yeah, you might hear some of that.
You
or
might hear some of
worse.
that. You might hear me moaning straight up. You don't want to do that. And then they finish with, "Thank you so much for what you guys do, and I hope the podcast continues for many years to come. We also would love for that to be a thing. Thank you so much for writing. If you guys want to write,
Diagnose my fetish, Kazuo.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Damn. If you guys want to write into Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner, you go to AAAPodcast.com, AAAPodcast.com, hit the mailbags button. It's like mailbag and more. You can
Hit
hit the option there.
Yeah, don't go to the AAA website. You're not
Yeah,
gonna get anime.
You're not gonna.
But they might tow your car for you.
Yeah, they might do that at a price.
You might get a discount.
We should collaborate with AAA. And
Oh,
then
damn.
We can inception the whatever. Okay.
Congratulations, Z-Hawk.
Congratulations, Z-Hawk.
Yes.
Now you too can join the ranks of full-time IT overlords at whatever workplace you have. Can you? You know what? If you can make your IT department less bureaucratic than a given national government, you should write back in again because that truly would be a miracle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was a little. Yeah. Okay. No one laughed. All right.
It's time for hot new anime releases.
Mamoru Oshii is unveiling a new film. Oh no, it's not a film. It's a series. My bad. I jumped the gun there.
I mean, still hype.
Close.
Spring 2020, Vlad Love, 12-episode series titled Vlad Love is going to debut in spring of 2020. Although I gotta say, the synopsis doesn't really sound like Mamoru Oshii.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I definitely
Slapstick-
know him more for his like sci-fi works,
Of
like
course,
Ghost in
yeah.
the Shell and Angel's Egg, not this. He still looks
Slapstick
adorable.
comedy revolves around Mai, a vampire, and her school friends. So he commented that there will be no handsome men, and that it will be a serious take on the girl meets girl theme. Who is
Why
this?
did he have to specifically say, "Don't worry, there's no handsome men"?
Don't worry, all the boys.
Don't worry, all the
trash.
boys are gone. You guys are safe.
They're gone.
Where did Mamoru Oshii go? What happened to
I
him?
don't know, man.
This is so left field for him.
I just keep laughing in my head because when you said Vlad Love, my brain immediately went Chad Love, which is like a very internet meme type. God damn it! I'm out of it, baby. Woo!
Woo! So yeah, it's gonna be done by Drive Studio and Production IG. I mean, yeah, I mean, we gotta be excited. It's Mamoru Oshii, right?
Yeah, for sure, dude.
I mean,
100%.
even though it's not his like normal stuff, it's still him. You know?
I don't know. He could have lost his mind.
He could.
It's okay.
No.
There's going to be no handsome boys. Now
No
my
handsome
fragile
boys.
masculinity won't be threatened by anime
Exactly.
characters.
Exactly.
So I feel very safe.
If anything, I'll relate to the non-handsome boys. You know.
Exactly.
Damn. Thank you, Oshii.
Yeah, there's no handsome men. Does that mean that they're all just really, ugly guys? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. That's
Or maybe they're just not handsome to him.
Oh,
Yeah.
deep.
I mean, you know what?
What up, Mamoru? Take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Seriously,
Beauty-
man. Like you
Beauty in
can't.
the eye of the beholder. How about that?
You can't
Bitch.
just take your views on what is handsome and blanketly spread it like peanut butter across the bread of the public. Okay, I'm not
Or
about that.
bread.
I love peanut butter though.
I need a little jelly on my bread.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Put
Anyway.
some jelly on.
Handsome men jelly.
Chaos.
Handsome man. Handsome man jelly.
Handsome
Yeah.
men spreading peanut butter and jelly all over their bare chests. Which you're probably gonna get in one
Isn't
of
that
the
an anime?
spoiler
Yeah.
alert. One of the anime that I picked for this season may contain that.
I cannot believe you got that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And also the final season of Attack on Titan was announced
Nice.
for fall 2020. At the end of the last episode of this recent season of Attack on Titan, they announced that it's going to be coming out in fall 2020. So you have to wait another 5 seasons. It's so sad. And it's going to be on the NHK. Did Attack on Titan not come out the first time in like 2012, 2013? I mean,
The gap between 1 and 2 was
God.
like a decade.
Jesus.
like.
I mean, it seems to just get better and better, but
It is getting better and better,
I
but
mean-
they do like to take their time.
yeah, no shit. All right.
I mean, 1 year isn't that bad after finishing
No.
up a 2-part
Yeah,
season 3,
when I
so.
first heard the fall 2020 date, I was like, cool, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's fine.
Can I just ask a question?
What's up, man?
It may be a spoiler, but did they go?
Wait. No, don't ask it.
Okay.
Don't ask it.
All right. You
I
already
heard-
know.
I heard
Somebody
the-
already knew what you were going
You
to
already
say.
know what I was
Yeah, I
going
was
to say.
like, wait, don't do it.
All right. Okay. All right. Who wants to do the handle the trivia?
I got
Oh
it.
man, don't all jump at it once.
I don't
Yeah,
have a
shit.
special little section. I got this.
Yeah.
You got to come up with one, man.
Come up with one.
We'll get you. We got you.
Yeah, exactly. So the trivia can be found on the website. This month's theme is anime with summer in the title. The answer to this week was Ni Summer,
Mm-hmm.
and the winner for the week was Golden Jedi Link.
You damn pervert. Nay Summer is a hentai, and
Definitely a hentai.
only one person got it right, and it was this person.
I
Golden
was going to
Jedi.
say, I was looking for the list of people who got it right. I'm like, I'm not seeing it. I guess it was just this one. So good job. Like you said.
Good job, you pervert.
You either
Pervert.
you either cheated by using Google's reverse image search, which I'm going to assume you're not a cheater. I'm just going to assume that you're a pervert, and you know your hentai.
I'm just
and
assuming you
know
watch
your hentai.
hentai well, and you take notes while doing it like we do, because we're insane.
It's not even a well-known hentai.
I mean, I've seen it.
He's a connoisseur pervert.
I mean,
Oh my
I know,
God.
I knew it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Mine's
head
on.
on over to the site and we'll look at the one this week and take your best guess at it. And then we also have the in-show trivia, which you have until the end of our news break to answer. And that corresponds with our review this week. So it is The Promised Neverland is directed by Mamoru Kanabe. Which of the following anime was also directed by Mamoru Kanabe? Serial Experiments Lane, Sora no Oto, Norir, or Erased? The answer when we return.
Stay tuned.
Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi is here, and I'm bringing you our first anime news break. Leading us off, we have a pretty big little article here. Charapedia has polled the most anticipated anime for summer of 2019. This coming from Japanese audiences. Giving you a top 5 list, Given, coming in at number 5, followed by Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, Season 2 at number 4, A Certain Scientific Accelerator at number 3, Lord L. Melio 2's Case Files, Rail Zeppelin Grace Note coming in at number 2, and Karakai Jouzu no Takagi-san Season 2 coming in at number 1. Others on the list include things like Do You Love Your Mom and Her 2-Hit Multi-Target Attacks, Are You Lost, Ensemble Stars, Senki Zesho Symphogear 15, and Copcraft, all rounding out the top 10. Next up on the news break, Yudu Yuri, a very popular series that was inspired by a manga that had 2 seasons done by Doga Kobo in the summers of 2011 and 2012, are getting a little more content. There was a pre-screening event for Yudu Yuri at the manga's 10th anniversary recently, and it was announced that a mini anime series for the franchise is going to be made titled Mini Yuri. It's going to be a 4-episode series with a runtime of 5 minutes per episode. It's going to be a short little series for those of you that are fans of Yudu Yuri, but a little more content for the fans of the series out there. Next up, the 13th and final episode of Bokutachi wa Benkyou ga Dekinai, otherwise known as We Never Learn, ended, and there was an announcement on Sunday. The anime is going to be getting a 2nd season, and you won't have to wait long. It's going to be coming out in October of 2019. So for those of you that are big fans of that series, you won't have to wait long. For those of you that haven't seen it, the story is about a boy. His late father always said that a useless man should strive to be useful. So to that end, the 3rd-year high school student, Nariyuki, dedicated himself to becoming a high-achieving student in his school, despite his history of poor grades. And in order to give his destitute family a better life, his ultimate goal is to obtain a special VIP nomination, but to do so, he has to tutor some very troublesome girls. So a pretty funny show that came out this last season. Look out for more of that coming out in October. Next up, Toei Animation has announced at the Usagi special birthday party for 2019 that the previously announced 2-part anime film project for Sailor Moon is going to be opening in Japan in 2020. So those of you that are big fans of Sailor Moon, there's even more content coming. The new project is titled Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon Eternal, otherwise Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Eternal, the movie. So Toei has confirmed the film's project's main cast and staff, and there are also some promotional images available online for those of you that are big fans of Sailor Moon. You can look out for that. It looks like Chiaki Kon is returning from the anime's 3rd season to direct the 2 films. This is Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now, as always, it's time to get back to the podcast right now.
Okay, the stars are aligned and I have all the required materials ready. The night is perfect. All I have to do is light this black candle and...
Wait, what the?
Enzo, what are you doing here?
I was looking at this anime retail site before I just ended up here. What are you doing?
I'm trying to summon an elder god in the hopes that he will grant me more hot anime boy figurines. But I have just summoned you by accident. Ugh, that means my entire ritual was a complete failure. I have to start all over.
Why would you summon an elder god for something like that?
I don't live in Japan, Enzo.
There's an easier, safer, and more sane way to go about this. Look at this website.
JList.com?
Yeah, JList.com sells all kinds of figures, games, manga, snacks, and other merchandise. They'll even ship it straight from Japan to your doorstep.
That does seem like a bit safer.
Now, can you please promise me you won't try to summon any more elder gods? My butt hurts from that fall.
I can't make any promises. We have to pay the bills around here somehow. JList.com, selling figurines to save you from possible demonic influence.
Hi, my name is Tony Oliver, voice of Arsene Lupin III from Lupin III, the TV series, and I am an anime addict.
Welcome back to the podcast.
We back.
Hello.
I love this
Welcome
song. I just get amped up every time I hear it. I'm glad to be back. We had an intro trivia question. The Promised Neverland is directed by Mamoru Kanbei. Which of the following anime was also directed by Mamoru Kanbei? Serial Experiments Lane, Sora no Oto, Noir, or Erased? How many of you knew the answer to this one?
Heck no.
I did not.
I did not know this one, dude.
The answer is Sora no Oto.
Sora no.
Which is Sound of the Sky.
Yeah, a little like a sort of like a little like a K-On clone sort of, if I recall. Like there are 4 girls in it that like play music and stuff. I don't know.
He was
anyway.
also the director for Elfen Lied.
Ah.
Oh wow. All right, well, which everybody knows.
Yeah.
So real quick, I just want to mention that Icy Rose posted on our little chat thing on the Discord. He says that he's planning on starting an anime club on the Discord, but it won't get started until much later in this month. I assume he means July. So look forward to having another club on the Discord. You can join and watch. I assume either a live viewing club or a club where you watch on your own and then discuss. But either way, it's coming. So another thing to enjoy.
The Discord is becoming a legitimate virtual anime high school where kids are just in clubs, like kind of lit.
But you can be in all of them though.
You can be in all of them. There's no member. What if we had a member registry? Oh my god.
So I think it's going to be a watch on your own time and discuss because we already have like a live showing.
Yeah.
And it will happen on the weeks where we do not have manga club. So every Wednesday there's something going on now.
Awesome.
Or will be.
But we don't want to speak too soon. He's working on that, so we don't want to lock him into this. So
all right, so
stay tuned.
Speaking of
Icy's committed.
Speaking of
manga
clubs.
Speaking of club, it's time for Mandy's Manga Minute.
Yeah.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandy.
This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga to help you find something new to read. And this one is called Maken, H.P. Lovecraft's The Hound and Other Stories. A pair of decadent young men pursue the abhorrent thrill of grave robbing. A German submarine's crew is driven mad by the call of an underwater temple. An explorer in the Arabian desert discovers a hideous city older than mankind. His moody and evocative manga gets back to the dark foundations of the Cthulhu mythos. Maken is a horror manga illustrated by Go Tanabe and based on 3 short stories by H.P. Lovecraft. It's just one short volume and available in English. It was also released back in 2009. Maken adapts 3 of Lovecraft's short stories that lead up to the Call of Cthulhu. The Temple is a short about a Nazi submarine that sinks to the bottom of the sea and stumbles on an underwater palace. The Hound is about 2 men who steal a cursed object off of a corpse while grave robbing and become haunted by some terrible beast. And The Nameless City is about an archaeologist that comes upon a frightening city while exploring a desert ruin. And each of these stories are very atmospheric, and the bold, realistic art style really lends itself to Lovecraft stories. The horrors are hidden for most of the book, letting the creepy atmosphere and unexplained terror of the characters keep you in suspense. And there isn't a lot of dialogue or narration, so Tanabe tells most of the stories through the artwork alone. If you're familiar with Lovecraft, I would definitely suggest reading it. But if you're not familiar with the mythos surrounding some of these stories, you probably have a really hard time getting into this one, but they are adapting more H.P. Lovecraft mangas or books into manga, so I'm looking forward to seeing some of those as well.
Man, the artwork on these monsters and that you posted is amazing.
Yeah.
Mamoru Oshii would hate it though because it's got some decadent young men.
Yeah.
He's not about
They're
that.
handsome young boys, so Oshii would hate it.
That sounds really cool though.
And I gotta say the visual image of what I assume is Cthulhu that you posted looks exactly like the image of Cthulhu from Puzzles and Dragons, which I still play, by the way. I just
Which one? Are you talking about the one on the right?
Yeah, the one on the right looks a lot like him. So
that one's really cool because he's talking about the wind, and so he pictures the wind as like this giant beast, and I don't know, it's really cool. But if you have no interest in Lovecraft at all, you'll probably have a really hard time getting into it because there's not much. I don't know. It's really definitely for Lovecraft fans.
All right,
I love the art. Looks sick though.
Let's get right to it, guys. The summer season is upon us.
Oh my God.
I think it literally
Dang
starts.
time.
It starts in like 4 or 5 days, literally. By the time you hear this podcast, it's probably like literally gonna start the day this comes out, or maybe the day after. So we picked our shows, and I will say that we all had the same. This is a teaser. We all had the same #1 pick, except Mandy.
Well, hold on here. Hold on.
Kinda weird,
Oh
huh?
shit. Okay.
Can we discuss how this happened? Because
Yes, do it, please.
Mandy hard flex, and we all respected it. She was like, "Listen, I understand we all want to watch Vinland Saga, but guess what? You're not. I'm watching Vinland Saga." in everyone's
face.
#1 pick
Oh shit on your face!
on everyone's #1 pick slot, she wrote not Vinland Saga, not Vinland Saga, and then on hers she wrote Vinland Saga with a lot of arrows pointing at it. So we all had the same #1 pick, but Mandy had her #1 pick.
I was just helping. I mean, I put in my picks 3 weeks early. I'm helping fill it out for everybody else. Yeah.
I mean, just because Mandy is the one who gets to choose whether it passes or not doesn't mean we can't also watch it. And
Oh, I mean,
no, you can
absolutely.
watch it forever.
Absolutely. No, but Mandy deserves it. She's like, that's like her shit.
Enzo wins the Spoiled Boy Award for getting all 5 of his top 5 picks.
Oh wait, can I ask really quick? Am I the youngest boy right now?
I'm not sure.
I think by we are the same person, but I think by a week you're younger, or like a couple days.
The Kohai remains. Okay.
The Kohai remains strong.
I was worried for a second.
And I just want to say that in a season that only had like 26 shows, you have, I'm not sure, there weren't that many. Having all 5 of your top 5 picks is extremely unlikely. Like, very unlikely.
That means, though, you have no excuse if any of these are even bad.
No. Well, okay, so a preface to my picks, there were only 3 that I knew coming in that I really wanted to watch, and it was my top 3. The fact that I got all 3 is wild, because I thought you guys would like those too, but I don't know. And my last 2 I had thought about also, but not really that crazy about them. But
all right, I'm gonna start off. I'll just start because why not? My first choice was actually my 11th ranked show, and I'll be honest, this season seemed a little weak to me.
Yes, I'm with you.
And it may just be that the shows this season didn't jump out at me, but like there weren't that many shows where I was like, wow, I have to watch this. So I think literally after maybe the 4th show, I was kind of indifferent, which I feel bad about, but there are reasons to be optimistic about this show, and it's called Copcraft. It's done by Shin Itagaki, who, and when I say that there's reasons to be optimistic, there's also reasons to not be optimistic, and this is one of them, unfortunately. Shin Itagaki has worked on a lot of stuff that I would say, in my opinion, is kind of questionable quality, including the Devil May Cry anime, which I think if you've seen it, you'll agree is not good.
It's a thing.
Basquatch, which is the giant show with the giant robots that have like giant Nike shoes on. Jin d'Arc and the Alchemist Knights, which I think is like, I mean, from all accounts, not good. TQ, a lot of TQ, which is a Moe show. And then the one shining light that I saw was Bento, which is that show where they fight over bento boxes in the convenience store.
That's such a great David production show of epic proportions.
So Shin Itagaki, Studio Millipence is doing the animation, which is not also a studio that generally is well liked. TQ again, the recent Berserk series, which people usually moan in agony when you mention, and Wake Up.
Many eyes rolled back just now.
And the sequel to Wake Up Girls, which no one seemed to like as well. The synopsis: 15 years ago, an unknown hyperspace gate opened over the Pacific. Beyond this gate lies Rado Semani, a strange alternate world where fairies and monsters live. San Teresa City, a city where over 2 million immigrants live from both worlds. As a result, there are the haves and the have-nots. Here is the world's newest city of dreams. But in the shadows of this chaos, crime is repugnant. Drugs, prostitution, weapons trafficking. The detectives who stand up to these heinous crimes are in the San Teresa City Police, where the detective Kei Matoba and in the alternate world Knight Tirana, two individuals who differ in gender, personality, and even world of origin, meet. An incident erupts. Two worlds, two justices. From this, the curtain rises on a buddy police action story. Now, I watched the PV, and it does look like a lot of action. With fantasy elements, like there was some fairies and bottles that looked like they were being dealt, like in the black market deals.
Right. Yeah.
It looks interesting. Like it's a cool action show. Range Murata, who I haven't heard his name come up in a while, but he is doing the character designs, and he's done a lot of great artwork in his day. He did Blue Submarine #6. He did the art designs for Last Exile, and he did the mechanical designs for the Animatrix, and he has like tons of art books and stuff out that people have, been enjoying for a long time. So his art is good. He's a very like recognizable name.
Last Exile designs are to me top tier. That's crazy.
Yeah. So Range Murata is good stuff, and he's also doing BEM, the designs for BEM, I think, which is another anime this season. So, sorry that was a little long. I'll try to keep them shorter from here on out, but that's my first pick, Copcraft.
Cool. Oh no, my top 3. I have a lot to say.
Now you guys can.
Yeah, I'm gonna go through my worst ones quickly and then really dig in on the juicy ones.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
Mason,
the goal.
You want to go next?
The goal is I think the goal is like 3 minutes a piece at most because there's 20 of these.
That was good. I thought that was 3 minutes.
Do your best.
Yeah, I can go next.
Yeah.
This whole season for me was just like a bunch of wild cards where each had like equal amounts like promise and like concerns. So what I ranked 12th and is the first pick I'm going to talk about is Tejina Senpai or Magic Senpai. So this is done by Linden Films, who did like Hanabata and Koito Uso. And like the synopsis is about a high school, obviously, where our main character joins a magic club, but the leader of the club has like stage fright and like all kind of hijinks. It's a short, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I picked it is because there's been a bunch of really quality shorts over the past few seasons that have just been slept on, and at like 15 minutes, it's like worth a shot. The problem is that this is an ecchi, which like first of all is not my preferred genre.
I thought it was your favorite.
Yeah, Mason, isn't it your favorite genre?
And, yeah, you know me. And even with that, the designs aren't that great within it. Right off the bat, the main character who kind of looks like the girl from Dagashikashi, but she has like a weird like flesh tooth, like a pointy tooth, but it's like flesh colored. It's not like a tooth.
Oh, they didn't white it in.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
So right away, it's got an aesthetic that will like push people away who are in it like just for like.
It's gonna trigger you every time.
Yeah, it will. But like, it's got promise because it is about magic, and that could be interesting and exciting. And any kind of those weird shows where people just have not weird, but like a hobby that they're just into and passionate about, and will hopefully teach me stuff about it, could be interesting. So having characters that work towards a goal is good. So this could be ugly and unfunny, or it could be charming and sweet and a fun time.
What's it called one more time?
Tejina Senpai.
All right.
Tejina Senpai. Cool. So I will go next because I'm next on the list thingy. My number 5 pick was my number 5 pick.
Wait,
surprise,
really?
Surprise.
Really?
Yeah, you know.
Wait a second. Are you going to say that every time just to rub it in?
No, I was actually about to say, to save myself time, from now on, my picks are in the order of my picks. So
crazy how
unbelievable.
Wild, I know.
You clearly cheated again. Did you check all of our?
No,
you checked all our things,
not.
Dude. You are well known for this.
Cheat. I have reasons to watch. Okay, I'm not
okay.
defending
Okay,
myself.
okay.
I have reasons to watch these. Okay. So Try Nights. So I felt very similarly to you guys, where I think this season was very wild cardy, but at the same time, I do like several things in anime, and this kind of gives me something for each of those things. Although my expectations are very high, but for example, I do like me some sport anime, right? So I did look for one because I didn't really see anything else that jumped out at me. So I looked out. Then I started looking through the anime through what I like. So I was like, I like sports. So I found one. This one is called Try Nights, and Try Nights is about rugby. And the synopsis basically mentions that there's this guy, Riku, who used to play rugby before. He now doesn't, and he's walking along in high school one day, and he like looks out the window or something, and he sees a whole bunch of people playing a really rough sport, and turns out to be rugby. One of these people that are playing the sport is called Mao Akira, and then he sees Akira playing, and then without meaning to, he kind of just like gives Akira advice, and then through him doing that, Riku is like once again kind of becoming motivated to get back into it, despite whatever may have caused him quitting before. So a couple things as to why this was even interesting to me. One, it is a sport anime. I wanted one. Cool. Two, there have been rugby anime in the past. I didn't like them. I think the sport is cool, so I want to see a good one. Hopefully, this one is a good one. The reason where it might be or it might not be a good one is because this is Studio Gonzo. This is a Gonzo anime.
Gonzo,
yeah.
they've been having some trouble
Good
lately.
shit.
So
Good shit. Yeah, well, but yes, but like in the past, they've had good shit. So
they have.
it's like they've NHK, Full Metal Panic, Afro Samurai, all that stuff, like Gonzo stuff. And I believe Last Exile too, which we just mentioned. So yeah, so Studio Gonzo doing a rugby thing. I like the key visual of the two guys. It seems like a cool glasses Megane-kun type person.
Oshi, hate it.
You hate it?
No, Oshi.
Oh, Oshi would hate this key visual.
Pretty boys.
They're both very hot boys. It is giving me some boys to boys vibes, which I'm not against.
Boys to boys. That's another one of your picks.
Yeah. Oh, that's the
I've read
coming
that
up again.
manga.
Oh, okay, excellent. But yeah, so this is Try Nights. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it's a good sports anime. I hope it revolves 50-50 between sports and character building. I hope the sport action is good. Gonzo, if Gonzo can be old Gonzo, it would be cool. So I'm down.
All right, cool.
Cool.
And what was it called?
my-
That was Try Nights?
Try Nights, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to say the name before and after for people that are listening. All right, Mandy, what do you got?
All right, so my number 5 pick, which on my list overall was number 12. It's based on a light novel, and it has the most light novel name in existence. And it's called Do You Like Your Mom? Her normal attack is 2 texts at full power.
The fuck?
Is this the How Do You Like My Mom's double combo, whatever?
Yep, that is this one. It has a really long Japanese name, which I'm not even going to attempt. But this is being adapted by JC Staff. The director is Yoshiaki Iwasaki, who did Love Hina, apparently.
Hell yeah.
Well, if he did Love Hina, it must be great.
Love me some Love Hina.
Yeah. So this is an isekai about a guy who is transported into a game world.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
But he's not alone. He is transported into this game world with his mother.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, that's great.
This one does something a little bit different where he's not the overpowered one. His mother is.
Oh, really?
So the PV looks okay. It has some very bright music though, and normally I really avoid isekai shows, but this one's doing something different. It actually came recommended to me by people in our manga club. So I was like, all right, I'll give this one a shot. And I am all for powerful women, and especially mothers. So this is like, I don't know. I think it has a potential to be delightful.
100%. Dude, I'm like smiling thinking about this. That's
Me
like,
too.
I'm very
smiled,
curious
dude.
how his mother deals with
Yes.
things. We'll see.
Fuck
I
yeah,
smiled
good
too.
pick.
I'm going to watch this with my mom.
Hell yeah.
Aw.
She'll love it. I hope so. Am I up?
Yeah, that's you.
All right, I am doing my 7th ranked show is my 4th pick. So, I really didn't do too poorly, and that is Katsute Kami Data Kemono Tachie, and this is the English title is It's like this to the sacred abandoned beast or something. The director is Jun Shishido, who has quite a resume. Directed Saionkoku Monogatari, which is quite a good sort of like Chinese historically influenced sort of shoujo show, I think.
Yeah, that's
And
on my list. I've been meaning to watch that.
It's pretty good. And Hajime no Ippo Rising and Hajime no Ippo New Challenger. Probably even more exciting, the illustrious, I now call them MAPPA Studio, because everything they do seems to be great, including recently Kakegurui, Banana Fish, Zombieland Saga, Rage of Bahamut Genesis. Like, everything they seem to make ends up being a hit. So I'm pretty excited that they're working on this. The synopsis: during a protracted civil war that pitted the North against the South, the outnumbered Northerners used dark magical arts to create monstrous super soldiers called incarnates. Now that the war has ended, those sacred beasts must learn how to make their way in a peaceful society or face death at the hands of a beast hunter. Nancy Shaw Bancroft, the daughter of an incarnate soldier who met an untimely death at the hands of one such beast hunter, turns to hunting the hunter herself. But once she catches up with her quarry, she discovers hard truths about the lives of the incarnates. I watched the trailer. Lots of action, lots of scenes of humanoids or humans fighting just very large monsters. So it definitely looks like an interesting sort of fantasy action show. I've been hearing things about this anime well before the season started, and I have some pretty good expectations for this one. I think it could be one of the better ones of the season. Flat out, just because Mappa's doing it, I feel good about it.
Yeah, Mappa deserves some benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, at this point. So that's Katsute Kamidata Keimono Tachie, or To the Abandoned Sacred Beasts, I think is the English title. So, and that's it. Next up.
So this is my second show, which ended up being my 8th ranked pick, and this is Nakanohito Genome, or Jikyochu. So the last time I talked about Silverlink, who did the show, is when they did Kenja Tomaho, which we all know how bad that was. So the reason I picked this for Redemption is that it's actually done by their better director, Shino Numa. So once again, he's had a lot of hits, a lot of misses. So once again, it's a wild card here. I couldn't really tell if it's an isekai, but it seems to be like a kidnapping where they take the main character and a bunch of other people into like a death game where they have to solve games together, and they all specialize in different video games and board games and puzzle games. So it's
cool.
It's like it could be good, or it could be way too edgy.
Yeah.
Sounds like
I was kind of mixed about it, but then I saw the PV, and there's actually, the art seems pretty interesting at moments, despite the kind of lackluster character designs. But the reason you should watch the show is that, one, it has a giant panda in it.
Hell yeah.
And there's
yeah.
Well, of course.
a guy who looks like a llama, or a guy whose face is a llama, who's called Pakasan, as an alpaca.
Finally, a Peruvian on an anime.
Exactly. We got Pakasan. So it looks like it could be generic, but there's just enough interesting like art styles and shifts.
Oh my god.
I'm
looking at this guy with the alpaca head.
It's pretty great. So once again, the premise is kind of lackluster, but if the visuals hold up, it could be a fun ride. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
And that's Nakanohito Genome.
Yeah, we've had some diamonds in the rough in the past, dude. Like that's
what I'm looking for here.
Yeah, man. I think you might. If anyone could find diamonds in the rough, I feel like it'd be you.
Listen, anybody can just put Vinland Saga on a list, and
that's what I'm like. Who?
I'm out here.
The laziest thing to do is the laziest thing to do is to pick Vinland Saga first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, why bother?
Why bother? You know. Anyway, you guys already know. My next pick is Dungeon Machi, or not Dungeon, fucking
Danmachi.
Dungeon Machi.
Sorry, I was, because Mandy's here, so I was thinking about the manga.
Too close to Dungeon Meshi.
Yeah, that's where my brain went. Yeah.
Oh man, I love that manga.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, so this is season 2 of Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? So again, I was looking through this list and I was like, okay, like I have 4 shows that are new that I want. I don't know what else to pick. I actually liked season 1 of Is It Okay to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
Okay, so you watched it. That's good.
Yeah, so I watched the first season already. Yeah, so I threw the season 2 on there for a couple of reasons. I know the first season, and this is very blurry in my head because it's been a minute since I watched the first season, but I do recall liking the animation a lot. I recall liking the world level up system a lot. I remember there was one fight in particular, I think maybe episode 5 of the first season, where main character dude fights with like a red dagger, this big monster thing, and he kills it 1v1. That was cool enough. It's been imprinted in my mind, so I must have liked it enough. And also for still to this day, Hestia is very highly considered a best girl. So
You like that boob ribbon? It's all about the boob ribbon for you, isn't
it's all about the boob ribbon, man. But yeah, so nothing much to say. I'm not really sure what this. There's no real synopsis about it too. It just says it's the second season of Danmachi. It's a show that's been promoted a lot by Crunchyroll, including like having its own game and everything. I believe Crunchyroll at Anime NYC last year had this like really cute girl cosplayed as Hestia. Also, like they love that shit. So I picked it. It's a safe pick for me. I don't know what to expect. Hopefully it turns out to be something more, something that has a deeper premise or story than the first season did. Because I do like the level up system and the dungeon exploring in the show. So we'll see. That's what I got for
It's
number.
been a while. I did see season 1, but it's been a long time. Was it 12 or 24 episodes?
I think it was not 24. I don't know if it. I don't know if it was like. I don't know if it was like 13 or 16 or whatever. But it's. I don't know. I don't think it was 20. I don't remember there being that much shit happening, but who knows? It was a long time.
Yeah. So yeah, my next one was overall my 7th pick, and it is called Wasteful Days of High School Girls.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
It's based on a web manga. The weird thing is, Mal does not have listed a studio or a director, so I have no idea who's doing this. But
that's a good sign. Nobody cared enough to go in there and enter the
no
data.
one wants to take credit for it. Yeah. It looks like an absurd comedy. It looks very similar to Daily Lives of High School Boys.
Yes.
It's about 3 girls who are all pretty quirky, and they give each other nicknames. One is named Ota, which is short for otaku because she's a super nerd. One is named Robo, who is very expressionless.
That's so cute. Oh my god.
Robo, that's cruel.
I love
Robo, really?
Well, no, wait. The other one is named Baka because she's stupid.
Oh, there you go.
Are you sure this isn't about the team? Are you sure this isn't about bullying?
Yeah, right. So yeah, it's about them being friends. I read a little bit of the manga just last night, just so I could see what it was about, and it is a very absurd comedy. It's not quite on the same level as Asobe Asobase, not that level, but kind of more on the level of Daily Lives of High School Boys. So I'm interested. I don't know. We'll see what it's like. I don't really have any grand expectations.
All right, what was it called again?
Wasteful Days of High School Girls.
Wasteful Days. Good lord.
Yeah.
Okay. This next one I picked up not knowing that it was the 7th season. But
you didn't know? You didn't see the 7?
But
I just thought it was 7 in the title.
I just said last podcast. Why do they keep giving us these?
Yeah, there's like 7 samurai. 7 samurai. You know what?
I just said last podcast. Why are they making these still?
You have to watch all.
I'm just gonna shame myself. I'm shaming myself.
Shame.
And you're like, oh, that sounds great. I should pick it.
Shame.
Oh, 7 seasons.
Shame.
Yeah.
So, but the seasons don't have any. They don't seem to have any kind of connection because they're just short horror stories.
No, they're not. Yeah.
So, you of all people, Mandy, I thought would like this one.
I've seen a few seasons, and they're very hit or miss. Some of the episodes are so boring, and some are like, oh, that was kind of creepy. It's very hit or miss.
Yami Shibai 7 is the 7th season of Yami Shibai. It's a series of horror short stories full of, it says full of mystery and darkness, blah, blah, blah. Japanese folktales told by a mysterious old man in the middle of a forest. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like, I kind of wish this had come out in the fall, because it would have been more fun to have it come out like around Halloween.
Yeah.
I couldn't find much information about this either. I had to dig a little harder. I think Kenichi Sugimoto is doing the directing. Ilka is the studio. I believe it's the studio because they've done every other Yami Shibai show. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of making an assumption there, but I couldn't find a PV at all. So I'm guessing like literally no one cares about this show, but I'm watching it anyway. Someone has to watch. Someone has to give it some love.
Well, if you want to watch it around Halloween, I'm sure season 8 will be out then.
Yeah.
You'll be set.
All right, so Yami Shibai season 7. If you like horror, I'll say it may be the only horror show this season. Could be. So
Well,
he's like, well,
maybe.
you're wrong. Okay, so I am going to pass it off to, I guess, I don't know, who's next?
I am.
Mason's
Because I'm
next.
going to talk about the one horror show on my list.
Yeah.
Oh, you have
Which
to
is-
be that guy. Coming in here all hot after I made a statement like that. Now you're gonna make me
There's
look
no
bad.
horror. Well, who knows? This could be. Anyway, so this is called Ben, and it's named after one of the main characters, of which they're called Ben, Bella, and Bello, which I just think of Ed, Ed, and Eddie when I think of
Yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah,
wow, dude.
exactly.
My brain went there too, bro.
So, this is a show about 3 yokai, the aforementioned, who live amongst humans and protect them from evil yokai and don't really have a place in either world. You know that basic story. And the reason I picked it up, it seems to be like a rebranding of like a full like 26 episode series called Yokai Ningen Ben, which aired in like the late 1960s. And then
Wow.
it aired in like 2006. And both series are pretty poorly rated. So it's strange because like clearly there's some amount of love for this property for them to bring it back. And I don't know if it's just like the recent popularity of Devilman that is like, hey, let's bring back these nostalgic franchises or what? So I've never heard of this before. I checked out the PV, and the monster designs, which I'm guessing most of the show will consist of, don't look stellar. But there is this super slick song that is just oozing with style that plays over the PV, and I highly recommend checking it out. It's like a weird mix of like jazz and like trap, and it's a weird aesthetic. And I don't know how well the show is going to look or animate, but if they just have like an awesome soundtrack, very similar to what's like I'm trying to remember.
Oh,
the name.
fuck
There's
yeah.
Aka 13. It was kind of similar to just like it had an aesthetic that it was going for, and it's going to turn a lot of people off, but I think some people might like it. So the mix of horror and supernatural, cool soundtrack, hopefully, and like maybe a beloved franchise. I guess I haven't heard anything about it. Once again, it's a wild card. We'll see what happens.
It is
Bam.
a wild card.
And that's the other one that Range Murata is doing some of the designs for. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Enzo.
But yeah, so my next pick is pretty spicy hot.
Oh shit.
Huh? I'm surprised you guys didn't really want this. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but like it has hype behind it, supposedly. So my next pick is number 3 for me, and it is Enen no Shobotai, which I think the English name is Fire Force.
Can I
Fire
just
Force.
can I just jump in here real quick
Yeah, dude.
for a minute and say that I had so much hype for this show that I actually rated it twice. On my list.
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad. I put it in.
You wanted it so bad.
I put it on there twice. Okay, so I don't want to hear you talking about. I don't know why you guys didn't want this show.
Why did you guys get your third pick for your third show? I'm sitting over here at number 6, man. Come on.
I'm surprised.
Fight for life.
Damn.
I'm surprised that Manny
I know.
didn't put Vinland Saga first, second, and third.
I know,
It should have
right?
been.
But anyway, I'm just gonna say get good, and then second I'm gonna say
Get good.
that. So this one is about it takes place in a world. It is year 198 in Tokyo. Like they're calling it the Solar Era, and it's a world now that has like a special fire brigade that fights against a phenomenon called spontaneous human combustion.
What?
Where humans, this is from Mal, where human beings are turned into living infernos called infernals.
Sounds like Parasite Eve.
While the infernals are first generation cases of spontaneous human combustion, later generations possess the ability to manipulate flames while retaining human form. Shinraku Kwakabe, a youth. He's a youth who gained the nickname Devil's Footprint, for he has the ability to ignite his feet at will. He joins Special Fire Force Company 8, which composes of other flame users as they work to extinguish any infernals they encounter. So basically, they are a special firefighting unit that fights these demons, or I'm assuming they're demons, but these infernals with fire. They fight fire with fire, which is very interesting to me. So the unit as a faction that is creating infernals, as a faction that's creating the infernals appears. God, Mal grammar is trash.
People on there don't proofread with the shit that they write.
God. Shira begins to uncover the truth behind a mysterious fire that caused the death of his family 12 years ago. So this has shonen all over it. basically main character has family loss. He's grieving. He has powers. He joins the team. He's trying to be the best ever at killing these demons for revenge in this one. Couple things. I can't. Oh my god, Mason, do you know the name by any chance for Mandy or Mitsu? Like the guy that is directing the fight scenes for the show. He's super well known. But
I can look it up.
I do not. I'm sorry.
yeah, but so there's hype behind the fight scenes for the show. It looks really cool. I think it's a little, if you can get past the fact that they look like superhero firefighters. Firefighters are superheroes though. I'm not just saying. But if you get past the fact that they're just like cool looking firefighters, I actually like the aesthetic that they got in the show. The way that their coats have that reflective stripe, I think is really, really cool. And the fight scenes look sick, like really cool, and the music's not bad. So, and the animation is pretty solid. So I don't know. I wanted a shonen that looked pretty interesting. I hope it's not like another Blue Exorcist. I don't like Blue Exorcist personally, so we will see.
It's not summer 2019, but since you brought up firefighters, I just want to shout out Promare, the new Trigger movie. It came out like a month or two ago, and I think it's coming to the US in like September.
Let's go, dude.
But the soundtrack for it has come out. I've been listening to it, and it is literally the fire that it represents, because the movie's about firefighters. So right. It's not this season, but get hyped for that as well.
Amazing.
Also, we're not sponsored by Humble Bundle at all, but the recent manga bundle had a ton of volumes of this in it.
A Fire Force, right?
Yeah. You get it for like $15 or $10, like that, and loads of other manga. It was a really good deal.
Cough, cough, Vinland Saga.
Cough, all of Vinland Saga.
No, moving on.
Moving on.
All right, Manny, moving on. What do you got?
All right, my next one was my number 5 pick overall, and I'm just gonna say this for my next two. Both of my next two anime are Chinese anime. So if you get mad at me and say that's not anime, I don't care. I want to watch these.
Oh my god! Yeah, he's flexing on all y'all right now.
I am. I don't care. Don't come at me for this. I want to watch it. So my next one is the second season of King's Avatar. Yes. It is being produced by GC May Animation and Film. They actually did this one and the next one that I'm going to talk about. And this one is an esports anime about a man named Ye Xiao and his professional career in the game Glory. And he starts off as a captain for the team Excellent Era, but he suffers a loss in a tournament and through esports politics is forced to retire. And around that time, Glory is releasing a new server, and he gets a job at a local internet cafe and jumps on during the server's launch. And from there, he starts to play the MMO from level 1. But he's a professional player surrounded by new and casual players.
Literally
so he's extremely out of their league.
Smurfing on him.
But he's the biggest Smurf I've ever seen in a game. But a Smurf is somebody who is way skilled but playing on lower levels.
I see.
But he starts to recruit new players into a team and level his character. They level, using his character and compete with other guilds and start his journey back into esports. And instead of just showing the guy sitting on a computer tapping away at a keyboard, it does do the thing where it switches back and forth between Ye Xiao and his character's point of view. So while some parts look like an isekai, it's just like to show the gameplay in a more interesting way. And the artwork from this company is very pretty, but they do have like some occasional very janky CG animation.
Well, you can't be good at everything.
Yeah, the CG moments aren't terrific, but they're not so hard that you can't watch them. And it's based on a web novel that is pretty far past season 1, and I'm not caught up to it, but there is a lot that happens past season 1, and it will eventually get back into stadium tournaments. So I'm interested in seeing what happens. Is it the best thing ever? No, but it's fun, and so I'm interested in seeing it.
Well, I'm glad you're happy and excited about it, and
Thanks.
and I'm excited about this next show because nothing could be spicier and nothing could be hotter than Naked Fireman.
You put this on your list?
He did put it, Mandy. That's why I was like, I cannot believe he did.
Madman.
You absolute madman.
The next anime I'm going to do was my third ranked show. And my second pick. My number 2 pick.
Right, you're in some type of shit.
Yubusaki kara no honki no netsujo. O sana na jimi wa shoboshi.
nailed it.
Yo, take your shirt off while you say that, though, dude.
Directed by Toshihiro Watase. When you guys get when the Twitch template comes up and we're all on camera, I'm going to take my shirt off and
this
rub
whole
my nipples.
review is going to be done shirtless.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to take my shirt off and rub my nipples.
Non-negotiable.
I am going to go get listen. I am going to go get a fireman hat. I'm going to put it on with suspenders, and I'm going to be shirtless when I do this impression. I want you to know.
Oh my god.
Toshihiro Watase is directing it. He's directed a ton of hentai. That's right. It's naughty time. Hatsune Inu, he directed Hatsune Inu the animation and other things. That's a really popular one. Done by Studio Mouse, which is not a hentai studio, which did the production work for Trinity 7, Juni Taisen, Mayoiga, and a bunch of other stuff. This is fighter porn, okay? Fighter porn.
I'm just gonna say it.
That's a genre now.
You're just gonna say it
is.
now.
Office worker Ryo, and despite what the synopsis says, it's lying to you. Just add in bed to everything. It's like a fortune cookie. Okay. Office worker Ryo, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna play the PV, and I'm just gonna tell you what I see. Here we go. Oh, he's this handsome man in front of a burning building, and there is a woman in the building, and he busts in his fireman suit, and he goes, "Baby, your breasts look beautiful. I will save you." And now he's like he's like a JoJo character. He's so jacked. And now he's holding her around her shoulders, carrying her under her legs and behind her back he literally just caressed her body while he blocked a cabinet from falling on top of her. He's so manly and hot and sexy and smexy, and he's everything you'd ever want out of a fireman until he holds the water spigot in the shower and he's spraying water on her and he licks his lips because he knows what's coming next. A bath.
Is he gonna spray her with his hose?
He is.
He's still spraying her with his hose, dude. Damn.
But it doesn't put out fire; it starts a fire. In her loins. Office worker Ryo Fujihashi is trapped inside her apartment, which has set ablaze, as I said. The firefighters arrive in time to save her, and one of them happens to be Soma Mizuno, the hottest and smexiest fireman in all of the land, and has been featured in at least 43 fireman calendars throughout Japan and other areas of Asia. That's not actually in there, I just added that. Fujihashi's child.
That would be great. That was like they leaned into that aesthetic of like a war between the firefighters trying to get into this like highly prestigious calendar.
Fujihashi's childhood friend, who he's had a crush on, is the girl inside the building. As the apartment fire gets put out, an old love gets rekindled. So there you go. There's going to be a whole line of like firemen and police porn shows now.
On your list.
I can't believe it gets rekindled. Oh my goodness, worth it just for that tagline.
This means we're all gonna have to watch these 3 episodes.
Hey girl,
right?
you're looking so fine.
Was that a short?
I don't know.
Like,
I'm done. I'm moving on.
Gotta be.
It's set in stone, baby. I've locked it in.
5-minute episodes.
Excellent.
There's no way they're gonna fill.
We're all watching this. We're all watching.
Oh, we're all watching it. I mean, fuck.
Yes. So my 4th show was my number 4 pick, which I realized I don't think anyone else had it on their list, which means I could have gotten away with having it way lower and getting other good stuff.
And you would have, had you been Enzo and scanned everybody's.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're just gonna play Enzo's card.
I had it at number 13.
Oh, did you? Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm surprised you even went to the double digits. You didn't need it. Anyway, so this is Kanata no Astra, or Astra Lost in Space. So this is done by Studio Lerche, which way more misses than hits once again, and their animation always looks stilted, but it's based on a pretty popular manga, and it's only like 5 volumes long, so it's not going to be too hard for me to take a quick look at. But it's set in 2061, where a high school space camping trip goes awry when 9 group members are warped further 5,012 light years, which is 3 quadrillion miles, if you care, away from home.
Did you look that up?
I did.
That's hilarious.
So they get warped away from their campsite, and this group of 9 students must manage their resources. And there's like an old unmanned spaceship, and it's like there's like survival, there's comedy, and the PV really doesn't show too much about the tone or anything. It just kind of goes for, it looks like a PV for like the movie Gravity, where it just shows this student like floating around in space. But honestly, at the end of the day, I'm just a sucker for space stuff.
I'm with you.
Planet Test is like one of the best of all time.
Planet Test is good shit.
If this even gets close to getting me in that headspace, we'll see. I don't think it will be. I think it is more on the comedy side, but we'll see. It's different than all the others. So
there was an anime that I watched years ago, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, and it's really bothering me that I can't remember the name of it. But it's about like a group of kids that get stranded on another planet, like after a field trip. And the whole 52 episode show is about like them trying to survive. Like they build like a house and everything and weapons, and they that sounds amazing. It's driving me crazy. It was definitely meant for kids, but I really enjoyed watching it. I'm gonna try to find the name of it.
Word. All right. While you look, I will give my second. My second to me was a no-brainer why I picked it. So this one's called Given. It's my number 2, and it is about.
You like music?
Yeah, you like music. So this is when you give me a music anime in a season, I'm definitely gonna look at it. So this one is centered around musicians. I see guitars in the key visual. I see drums in the key visual. The PV had them playing music, and it didn't look like shit. It didn't look that bad. It's not Carol and Tuesday animation quality for the performances, but the animations look pretty solid, and the music's actually not bad either. So it's not entirely my cup of tea, but stuff that I would absolutely listen to if I was at a venue, or like it just came up on my Spotify or something, whatever. Synopsis reads, it's this play on words. It's stuck deep inside me and I can't get out of my head. Mafuyu's voice is insane and a dangerous weapon. That day, Ritsuka Oenoyama started to feel that playing the guitar and playing basketball, both of which he likes very much, were becoming boring. He then encounters Mafuyu Sato, who's holding onto a broken guitar and decides to fix it. The moment Oneyama finishes fixing the guitar, Mafuyu becomes completely attached to him. However, after hearing Mafuyu sing, it leaves a deep impression on him. So this is basically a show, and I like that so far. I like that premise because a big reason why I think Beck resonated with me a long time ago is because it's someone helping someone else and using music as the medium to do that. This one has a similar premise here, but I think this one is actually more love. I think this one is actually
it's a yaoi.
It's a yaoi. So
yeah, I've read some of the manga.
Right. So I'm looking forward to this. Like I think it's fucking sick because like this key visual is dope. Like I love the guitar they have in there. I love they have a rug under the drum set. That's very, very on brand to have your carpet under your drum set so it doesn't slide while you're playing it. They have a Marshall amp and everything. They have 2 guitars on the floor and all this stuff all over the place. That's a third guy holding the bass. My bad. That's the guy. That's the bassist there. So yeah, so I'm in, and like the PV had good music. It's a music anime, fam. I don't gotta say anything more than that. It's my number 2. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I hope the story's good.
I think it's meant for you.
Yeah, I would think so. I remember Mandy showed me this PV fucking months ago. Forever ago. The
anime I was trying to think of that it's rather good, by the way. You guys, if people like survival shows, you should watch it. It's called Mugen Wakusei Survive. Otherwise, in English, it's called Uninhabited Planet Survive. Definitely about little kids surviving on a like hostile foreign planet. Pretty good.
So Enzo, Given is done by the same Lerche studio as Astra Lost in Space, which I thought was interesting that they're doing 2.
Oh, that's so different though.
Yeah, it is. But
I
if the music is good in this, you and I definitely have to record us doing some covers.
Oh, I'm down. The fuck? I'm so
because
I have a host that plays drums with me now.
Heck yes.
Oh my god, let's do that.
Make it happen.
Damn, I'm gonna run out of I Love Hotel for you too. All right, next up is Mandy.
Yeah, so my second one was my second overall, and is another Chinese anime called Modal Zushi Season 2. And I talked about this on Hobby Addicts a couple weeks ago. And Mason was also there for it because he was one.
I should have never recommended this to you. You
Damn.
stole this pick now.
Damn. So yeah, he recommended it to me and I loved it. And so we talked about it once on Hobby Addicts a few weeks ago. But so yeah, Modal Zushi is filled with Chinese folklore. It's a series that starts with a man who is sacrificing himself to for a specific spirit to possess his body. And we learn that the spirit is named Wei, but he's not really sure why this man just sacrificed himself to bring him back. But he does find that he has 4 marks on his arm. And after killing somebody, he finds out that one of them disappears and leads him to believe that this man wanted revenge. And that's why he called out to him. But we also learn during the first couple episodes that Wei has this ability that allows him to bring corpses back to life and control them. And through events, we also find out that there are other characters who Wei seems to recognize from his previous life. And we are left with a ton of mystery surrounding Wei and what did he do, how did he die, and who are these people? So then the third episode actually goes back in time 20 years to when he was alive. And we get to follow up the events that lead up to the current time. And the story involves what are known as cultivators, who are people who can use spiritual energy. And there's a forbidden path, and there's demonic cultivation where you take in negative energy. And then there are all these different clans and the characters, all these different clans who are like at war with one another. They're not on friendly terms, but the characters are so enjoyable. They have such a wide cast of different personalities and goals, and there's political intrigue, there's action, there's beautiful artwork. I don't know, this anime has something for everybody, I feel. It was really enjoyable. I'm really looking forward to season 2. And yeah, I feel like there's so much more from where it left off in season 1. There is so much more to cover, and I'm really excited for it.
All right.
As am I.
Modal Zushi.
Yeah. As is Mason. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. It's fine.
But it's okay because you got me back because your number 1 pick. I am also extremely.
My number 1 pick is number 2 on my list, but it's We'll get to it.
Yeah. It's that one, that manga. I love that manga so much.
All right. Are you ready? Are you ready for sides, shoulder raises?
Yes, dude.
Oh,
hammer,
I'm so ready.
Hammer
This
curls.
is so on brand for you.
Another review that
bench
will have
press.
to be done shirtless.
Dude, there's so many shirtless moments coming up for us.
I'm gonna be peck popping on my way all the way through this impression. Because we're gonna be doing static curls. We're gonna have a little bit of a lat pull down. We're gonna be doing a little bit of that sweet little thing called inclined bench
This
dumbbell
is probably
presses.
why we don't get, like 3 minutes.
You're okay.
You know that whole thing. Yeah.
All right, so my number 1 pick is dumbbell nan kilo moteru.
Dumbbell.
Like how heavy are the dumbbells you lift? So how heavy are the dumbbells you lift? I think roughly translates to that. Mitsue Yamazaki, who directed Tadaku Never Falls in Love, Nozaki-kun. Is directing this. Studio Doga Kobo, who also has done some good things, Nozaki-kun, Plastic Memories, Himoto Umaru-chan are some of the recent things. Sakura Hibiki is your average high school girl with a voracious appetite. Noticing her clothes tightening in lieu of her slowly expanding waistline, she decides to look into enrolling into a nearby gym. There she runs into a girl from her grade at school named Soyuin Akemi. Akemi, who has a muscle fetish, tries to get Hibiki to enroll in the gym despite its high ratio of macho men. Thankfully, a beautiful trainer, Machio, appears and unknowingly convinces her to enroll and start her quest to a great body. And in the trailer, in the PV, which I watched, she's talking about like trying to get ready for summertime, so she's trying to get in shape. I really liked how it looked. I can't speak to the animation really because it's just the PV, but the designs look pretty nice. Like I like how the characters look. Seems like there's a bunch of guys and girls in the show struggling at their own pace to try to like have better bodies and live healthier lives and figure out how to work out because it's clear that like the girl is clueless. And in the news break, I talked about the voice actress actually has been like studying weightlifting and has been on TV shows with Kinniku-kun Nakayama, I think his name is. He's like a comedian who's really jacked out. And like she's been studying weightlifting, and so she probably knows more about weightlifting at this point than the girl on the show does at this point. But I think this will influence maybe having a weightlifting club thing on the Discord.
Oh, definitely, it's definitely going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be like an improvement type thing, like we did with a run with the Discord, where it's objective, or like. Maybe we'll make workouts based on like each episode of the show, and
that
like
is so cute.
I think that'd be a good way to do it.
Just make sure if you're the one that makes those that they're tough enough for me because I'm kind of like a badass.
Oh, we're doing some squats. We'll do it based on the show. So if like she builds up to it in the show, we'll do an easy course and an advanced course.
just fucking with you.
I know.
Oh, okay.
It'll be, good for everyone.
All right, so I think this is going to be a really fun show. It looks super fun. So
it looks ridiculously fun.
All right, I'm done. Next up.
Yeah, so I was torn between how much are dumbbells, and the show that ended up being my number 2 pick, but number 1 in my heart, because I was flipping between the two, and I was like, do I go with the one that is possibly good and more fun in Dumbbell, or one that is objectively
what it was.
gonna be so good? And my number
it was
2
revenge
pick,
because by Modal Zushi, I get it.
I swiped it. This is O Maidens in Your Savage Season.
Savage.
Or Araburu Kisetsu no Otome.
Mm-hmm.
And this is done by Les Deuce, which I haven't seen too much of their shows. They've done like Release of Spice, Classroom Crisis, and like 2016's Maji. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the studio, because they got 2 top-tier people working on this. First, you got Mari Okada. Her scripts are so good. And this is actually one of the manga that she originally did. So she's done like Anohana, she's done Aria. If you want your feels, if you want the good vibes and sad vibes and stuff that hits hard.
You're trying to be a sad boy like me and Mason.
This is gonna be top tier stuff.
Top tier stuff.
So like it's very similar to like the girls growing up genre and experiencing adulthood. This is if you like lesbian experience with loneliness. If you like Zaso Taishi wo Irake, which is like weeds embracing ambition. Like this is all about these 5-year-olds in the high school literature club, and it's like their path towards adulthood. And by adulthood, I mean sex and relationship and life.
Yeah. Oh, I'm stoked, dude.
I'm so hyped for this. It's directed by my guy, Ando Masahiro, who has been involved in so much good stuff as a major contributor, but he hasn't done too much as a director. But he did do Hanasaka Iraha.
Oh, good shit.
The same writer, Okada. So all the pieces are in place. I've read a couple chapters of this, and it's every single page is.
I've read a couple volumes.
You got the girls doing their blushing. There's so many best girls. This is like a place further than the universe, but instead of an epic journey to continent of Antarctica, it's the continent of womanhood, and it's going to be so delightful and so good and so relatable, and a 10 out of 10.
Damn, I'm already calling it.
Yeah, so very, very hyped for this one.
Yeah, so this is one of the manga that's on my list that I buy as soon as it releases. And so, yeah, there's only 2 volumes out in English so far. I don't know how many there are in Japanese, but so far I have been just loving it so much because there are so many awkward moments, but the awkward moments feel, it's surrounding
natural.
Yeah, exactly. Natural. It's like they are questioning what is sex and what should I want this? What exactly happens? They're not even exactly sure what sex is, and they're confused about all their emotions or the hormones that are going through them and their thoughts about other boys that were their friends, and now suddenly they're seeing them in a new light, and it's there is some really funny misunderstandings.
Yeah, it's got a lot of comedy.
Yeah. There's one misunderstanding that it was so funny to me, and not I don't mean like it was in a aggravating way. It was so innocent, and so I don't know. It's great. I'm really looking forward to it a lot.
And before Enzo and Mandy go off with their number 1 picks that they both got, I want to do a side shout out because it all came out at once, and I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. But as far as like cute shows that are relatable, Agretzko Season 2 came out.
Oh yeah.
And it's only 10 episodes, and it's still good. It's more of the same, and don't forget to check it out, people.
They literally just know. They have such a good feel about life, that show.
Yeah.
Like, they know what the fuck they're doing on that show.
Pretty similar here. So that's O Maidens in Your Savage Season.
Man, we're getting
There's one girl in there that every time she comes on, it reminds me of you.
Before I go to
you being me?
Yeah.
Before I go into my number 1 pick.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Mandy, you're reading Wind Up Bird Chronicle, right? Or you were?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okada is like the main character's last name, right? Toru Okada, Kumiko Okada.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's my brain was like, why is that last name so like prevalent to me right now? Anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, my first pick I'm very happy to have because it is just strange. It's the manga's beloved. I don't know about beloved, but I hear a lot of good things about the manga. It's also rated 8. The manga's rated 8 out of 10 on Mal, and I got Dr. Stone, which I think Mason and Miz both had as number one.
Yeah, I wanted this one.
I've done a manga minute on it in the past.
Yes, I recall. Which is also what gave me some push to pick it because it seemed interesting. So the anime synopsis on here, I read both the anime synopsis and the manga synopsis. The manga synopsis is way more interesting, but I'll read the anime one just because it's shorter. It says, on a fateful day, all of humanity was petrified by a blinding flash of light. After several millennia, high schooler Taiju awakens and finds himself lost in a world of statues. However, he's not alone. His science-loving friend Senku's been up and running for a few months, and he's got a grand plan in mind to kickstart civilization with the power of science. So,
can I ask you a question real quick? I just want to ask a question.
What's up? Go ahead.
Does that make this an isekai?
Isekai, no.
No, I just think this is it's the world, but different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's transported to a fantasy world.
Yeah. So, I think so. As far as anime has been going on for a really long time, and it's you see a lot of repetitive frameworks of narrative and story and stuff and settings specifically and premise stuff. So I've never personally seen an anime where everyone turned to stone real quick.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And then one or two people woke up and now they have to deal with a world of everyone's statues.
I mean, there was what was the idol show?
Oh Jesus.
Secco Boys?
Secco Boys. There's Secco Boys.
Everyone with statues?
Everyone that matters. they were busts.
It was great. Y'all should watch Psycho Boys.
Oh my god. But yeah, so this is something new for me, and I do like the animation style that's in the PV. The studio's TMS Entertainment. And the premise, I just want to see if this newer thing for me that I've never heard of story based on could be great. So I'm looking forward to it, and the reason I think it could be is because I've heard good things about the story at the Brooklyn Anime Meetup. Everyone's talking about this manga because I discussed with everyone that came the upcoming picks, and they all they were like, oh, you should definitely give this one a shot. I think it could be interesting to just see how it plays out in the anime. So yeah, so that's my number one pick, Dr. Stone. Super looking forward to it. I know the rest of us are gonna watch it also. So cheers.
Yep,
Good
I'm
for
excited
the science
as well.
boys.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
All right, I need some epic music or something for this next one from Andy.
I don't know what else to say about it. I've already pimped it out so much.
I have no idea what she's gonna pick, fam.
Yeah, I don't know. What could possibly be my number one?
I don't know. Definitely not what I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, surprising nobody in the entire world. It's Vinland Saga.
Mm-hmm. No.
Okay, that was our summer 2019 picks, everyone.
So, yeah, it's my favorite manga. If you're new to this show, if you're not, then I have talked my head off about this manga over dozens of episodes. But Vinland Saga is being adapted by Wit Studio, and it's being directed by Shuhei Yabuta, who did Inuyashiki and the 3D animator for Attack on Titan. He also did the OP. He was also the OP director for Parasite.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say except Vinland Saga is great. And so yeah, it's a story. It's based on Icelandic tale that is from the what was it, the 13th century, and it's about Vikings. And it's about this boy named Thorfinn who you follow from childhood all the way up to adulthood. Of course, I have no idea where season 1 is going to end, because the manga is very long and it's still going and there's still so much to cover. But basically it goes from where they are invading England, and it's also a journey to this, what they know as this magical land called Vinland, which is a place with no slavery and no war. So it is a very brutal story. It's all of the characters are historical people, and it's based off of history. Of course, we don't know how much of the original Icelandic tales are true or how much is fantasy, but yeah, it's fascinating. There's so much. There's a lot of action. The manga originally started in Shonen Jump, so there is a massive tone shift at one point because the author, who is also the author for Planetes, is Makoto Yukimura. He decided at one point that he wanted to take his series in a different direction and switch to a seinen monthly. And so the manga did start coming out started taking longer to come out, and there's a massive tone shift where it became a lot more serious than it was previously. But there's a lot of war and political intrigue, and it's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to it. The only thing I'm scared of is massive amounts of CG because the trailer looks like there's a lot of CG, but it doesn't look so bad that it doesn't look like it's Berserk's level, the newer Berserk. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Well,
it's truly an epic that I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but the manga definitely deserves it. So
hey, look, I did watch the Viking series on the History Channel, and I enjoyed it. That's basically this.
I just want to reiterate that Mandy, the manga monarch, said this is her favorite manga. I just say that one more time.
Yeah.
Mandy, the manga monarch, herself said this is her favorite manga of all time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let that sit with y'all, okay? All right. The hype levels are dumb high, okay?
Dumb high.
So I'm excited for this one too.
I see Rose also brought to my attention that Modal Zushi season 2 isn't going to come out till August, so that might be difficult.
Correct.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens with that.
And there's a lot of I see Rose also collected responses from our social media, a few of them, about what people were looking forward to this season, and there's a lot of Dr. Stone, Vinland Saga, Dumb how many kilo? What are we gonna call this? The Dumbbell Show? The weightlifting show?
We're calling it
Dumbbell.
Dumbbell has a couple people here. People are commenting on the fact that there's lots of isekai shows.
There's like 7 of them.
There's plenty. But the majority of people here seem like they're most interested in Vinland Saga. That may or may not have to do with Mandy. Got a little something to do with Mandy.
It could be my fault.
Could be.
If you don't like it, I don't apologize.
Mandy, are you cool with what studio doing it?
Second Titan people? Yeah.
Yeah, right? Me too. We had a comment on here from @MarinerBert that says Vinland Saga, but also Afraid because which studio? And I was like, interesting. I think I'm okay with that though. I'm okay with them.
All right.
Yeah,
so
we did Vinland Saga last week for Manga Club, and a lot of us also commented that the artwork in Vinland Saga is so fantastic that it could be a problem where there's no way the anime adaptation is going to live up to that.
Gotcha.
But we'll see. We'll see what it looks like.
I hate to push us into the news break, but I know but where we are doing Promised Neverland, and I think we want to have more than 20 minutes for that. So
yeah.
So who wants to read the in-show trivia question?
The in-show. Okay.
Never mind. You got it.
Okay. The in-show trivia question is: The Promised Neverland is produced by Studio Cloverworks. Which of the following anime did Cloverworks also produce? Persona 5 the animation, Elfen Lied, Bleach, SSSS, Gridman. Ponder it. Think about it. We'll give you the answer when we come back.
Hey Anime Addicts, Mitsuki is back one last time, giving you another round of anime news. It looks like a third film of Senko Roll is in production. There was an opening premiere for Senko Roll Connect this past week, and the director, Atsuya Uki, announced that a third film is going to be coming out. There are some teaser images online if you want to get a look at it. The director commented that Senko Roll 3 will be the final movie in terms of Tetsu and Yuki's story. There isn't actually a date out yet for the release of this film, but the director vowed that they would finish the film as soon as possible so that there wouldn't be another really long wait in between the movies. The first one, of course, coming out in 2009, and then another one coming out in summer of 2014, which is a tremendous Attack on Titan-like gap between installments. But if you're a fan of Senko Roll, you're going to be able to watch another season of this coming out before too long, so get excited. Next up, a manga is getting an anime adaptation. It is Amahara and Masha's ecchi fantasy manga Ishuzoku Reviewers, or Interspecies Reviewers. The synopsis is quite ridiculous. Beauty truly is in the eye of the beholder. From elves to succubi to cyclops and more, the Interspecies Reviewers rate the red light delights of all manner of monster girls. The only thing is, they can never agree on which species is the hottest. This is coming from Yen Press. The director is Yuki Ogawa of Midu Tights, and the studio is Passione. And the promo art is ridiculous with some just giant breasts. I mean, it's absolutely absurd. I don't know how else to put it. But if you're a fan of monster girls, I see elf girls and what looks like cat or some kind of dog girl, and then also we've got some like cat, maybe cow girls. I don't know. But if you look online, you'll find this promotional image. Next up, a very interesting note. Ghibli co-founder Isao Takahata, who passed away some time ago. They've been finding a lot of different notes about his works from when he was even way back in his 20s. So some of these over 60 years old. He, of course, the director of very important works such as Grave of the Fireflies, Anne of Green Gables, Pompoko, My Neighbor the Yamadas. Most recently, The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Some of these notes include things like Takahata's ideas for Taketori Monogatari, which is the tale of the bamboo cutter, which is, of course, is the myth that is the main theme of Takahata's The Tale of Princess Kaguya, because Takahata, way back in the day, intended to use the notes of the story as part of a proposal to present to his animation company that he worked for way back at the time. There are also notes on other works such as Horus, Prince of the Sun, and more. These have been given to a National Museum of Modern Art in Tokyo as part of Isao Takahata's exhibition that opens on July 2nd. So I doubt you'll be able to find these online, but maybe if you're in the Tokyo neighborhood, you'll be able to check out some of these notes, as I would like to, on July 2nd. And lastly, there is a ridiculous anime coming out this season called How Heavy Are the Dumbbells That You Lift?, which is about a girl that is on a quest to get fit by summer despite knowing pretty much nothing about physical exercise. And it looks like her voice actress, Farrells, is a bit more experienced in the physical education department, and she's been watching YouTube videos, studying up on blogs about physical exercise, and she's been hanging out with trainer and entertainer Kin Niku-kun Nakayama, which basically means Muscle-kun. So as they are gearing up for gym videos to promote the upcoming How Heavy Are the Dumbbells That You Lift. So the promo videos look equally as ridiculous as the anime. So if you're looking forward to this, you may want to check out the promo video as well. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. Now, as always, time to get back to the podcast right now.
My friends are annoyed because they think I have forgotten their actual names. I just call them my senpais and kohais now.
I threw a tennis ball at my cat. I was so caught up in the moment and thought maybe I could capture her, and then we could go on adventures together.
I purchased a motorcycle just so I could pretend I was Onizuka.
I answered the phone with Moshi Moshi.
My poor cat.
I may actually have a problem.
It's time.
It's time.
It's time.
Hello, I'm Mandy from the Anime Addicts Anonymous. Do any of these symptoms sound familiar to you? Do you have 8,572 waifus? Do you struggle with having the theme song to Attack on Titan stuck in your head, even though Jaeger is the only word you know? Then you may be experiencing anime addiction. If you are experiencing anime addiction, then you should visit our website, AAAPodcast.com. At Anime Addicts Anonymous, we have dedicated ourselves to making your anime addiction worse. Worse! Yes, worse. Because the real world just plain sucks. So many resources await you. For just $5 a month, you will have unlimited access to our Hobby Addicts episodes. You will also have access to our hentai episodes, where you can watch a hentai along with us and hear our commentary. Give our after party episodes a listen, where you can hear us struggle to talk about our boring lives outside of anime. That $5 will go to helping us spread anime addiction throughout the world. Yes, it is time for you to make your anime addiction worse.
Oh man, I missed this beat drop.
Welcome back to the podcast. It's time to get into our review of The Promised Neverland, which a lot of people are looking forward to hearing. But first, we do have a 5-star review from iTunes, as we often do. If you want to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, if you don't want to leave us a 5-star review, then just don't leave a review. But if you want it to be a 5-star review, then we're happy for that. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And without further ado, let's read one.
It's time for iTunes review.
Okay. This one's long. From the Technical Time Eternal, good friend of ours. Do you want an anime podcast that covers anime that's coming out? Do you want some news from the land of the rising sun? Do you want that mix of deep to casual topics and discussions that stimulate your ear holes? Well, look no further. This podcast is right for you. The content is very informative, each broken up with self-made advertisements that just add to the charm and the creativity the hosts have and show just how much fun they are having. Speaking of which, the hosts all meld together in a chemistry blend that stands out. Even when their opinions differ, they are still friends, and that's what counts. Mitsugi's sometimes conflicting opinions, if that's the proper word to describe it, is a nice refresher that shows and proves just how real he is, as well as everyone else being genuine to themselves in the audience. Mitsugi also has that kind of an exotic mentor personality that'll lead and carry you along. How do you guys feel about that?
God.
Exotic.
We got tripped up with the word exotic.
I was like, whoa, woo! The Discord is
gonna grow some hair, dude. Holy shit.
No, that's impossible. The Discord is a comfy family. Mandy is cheerful, bubbly, and adorable. Don't stop laughing. Kazo is like that cool cousin you can hang out with and enjoy things together with, games included. And Enzo is that lovable ball of kindness that is relaxing and fills and chills with everyone. You can give him a hug through the microphone. He's just that friendly. All in all, amazing, and will make your anime addiction unrecoverable. Love you all. Well, thank you very much.
Aw,
Thanks,
you.
Tentacle Man. Let's go, dude. R.I.P. Kazuo, though. Damn.
Yeah, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Okay. So, The Promised Neverland. I don't remember who passed this, but...
Kazuo.
I think it was Kazuo.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, who wants to lead this off?
It was in his will before he passed.
Who wants to start the review on this very much loved anime, I think?
I can start.
Or is it?
Sure.
Yeah, so this is done by Studio Cloverworks, who hasn't done a whole lot. They co-produced Darling in the Franxx, but not a big-name studio. The big thing that pulled me into this is the 65th Noitamina show, which is like the late-night programming block, which usually has a bunch of really good shows
shit
on it.
Yeah.
And so, for example, the one that just finished up was Sarazanmai, and the next season's Noitamina show is Gibbon, which was Enzo's second pick.
Yep.
So, they've got a track record of being good shows, so that's a good reason to get excited. And right off the bat, I want to say that there is a season 2 announced for this show.
Oh, yeah.
2020, so this is not going anywhere.
Well, there damn well better be, or I'm going to riot. I'll go to Cloverworks and burn that place to the ground.
So, I mean, I guess to start off, a synopsis of the story.
I wrote
guys,
one.
Here's the thing. I'm out of practice here. I shouldn't be leading this.
I'll read it. I actually wrote one that's probably kind of shitty, but my synopsis is because I just want to read everything off my anime list all the time. Because first of all, people on there don't proofread, and it makes us sound stupid.
Well, I did this for Manga Club, so I could do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Promised Neverland. See, if you want to go into this I recommend, if you know nothing about this, going into completely blind.
Like, don't even listen to
you will
this.
Really enjoy it a lot more if you know absolutely nothing about it, which is what happened to me. The synopsis, there's really no way to describe this without spoiling a big twist off of the first episode. So I will just say that if you want to go into completely blind, you should go away now and come back to this review later. But since you're here, Promised Neverland is about this orphanage of kids, and there's three of our main characters are Emma, Norman, and Ray. And so at this orphanage, we get a feeling off the first episode that there's just something weird going on. They are testing a lot. They're doing tests that are far beyond their childhood age of, was it 10? I think they're 10 or 12.
They're like most
12.
of them. I think most of them are 12.
I couldn't remember. But
12 is the age that they get shipped off.
Right. 12 is the age that something happened. But most of them, they're there's nobody over the age of 12. They're all pretty young, and there's some that are below the age of 10. But there's a wide range of ages there. But but they're also taking care of somebody known as Mama. And we do get a feeling that there's something very weird going on. And towards the end of the first episode, we find out that this is actually a farm for humans, and they are raising them as food for demons. And so it's a cat and mouse game about these 3 kids and trying to figure out how to get all of the other kids out of this situation, and whether or not there is even a world to exist in outside of the walls. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you really call it an orphanage, though, to be fair? I mean...
It's just, I think the reason why I hesitate to lead this is because, like you said, Mandy, like literally just like talking about the premise is such a huge like minus to the twist. You know?
We can't do a review of the show without talking about it right off the bat.
Right. So I guess should we just go and just say if we would recommend the show or not?
Yeah, I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it. I mean, but I wouldn't recommend it for people who can't suspend disbelief, because there's a ton of shit in this show that is completely just like, what? Like
some stretches.
Oh my, you think? Like just a few. I mean, it's really a cat.
Not for now.
It's really a cat and mouse show, like the between the kids and other people, but it's like some of the logic leaps and stuff and the things that the kids are able to do in this show is completely unfathomable. Like, there's just no way. So like, if you're a person who likes like a good suspense show or a good like show that kind of like peels itself apart with like reveals here and there, and you can suspend your disbelief a bit, I think you're gonna love this anime. If you're like looking for hard realism, like no, like it does have kind of a mystery feel to it in a way, but like it's not like etched in reality. But I would recommend it. I thought it was good.
Yep.
Yeah, my non-spoiler review is that essentially this show is a Shonen Jump show, but it takes the tropes of like friendship, effort, like having a gifted hero, like protecting what you care about from like an enemy, and there's always a stronger enemy, and it takes all those like tropes and like skews them and presents them across a canvas of like suspense and schemes and mystery. And like Mitt said, there's a few moments of like believability that you just need to let slide. It's still a fun ride, and I would recommend it, especially as like a good like marathon show. If it's like a rainy day and you have like a whole afternoon to watch stuff, hitting this back to back to back is definitely the best way to go into it, and it's a fun time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go piggyback off that comment because I also think that watching this, I actually watched this anime over 3 times. The first time on my own.
You say 3 times?
Yeah, the second time
Wow.
because my roommates ended up binging it. I was hanging out with them. They started it. We ended up finishing the whole thing.
Oh, this will be good to watch with other people for sure.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then third, a different friend of mine came over and we just started watching it. And then he didn't want to stop, so we just kept watching. We just finished the whole thing. So I watched it 3 times. And the reason I think why it hits so hard is because this show is one of the few anime, and unfortunately I do have to say few, that actually maintains stakes the whole time and builds thematically the whole time, and then like releases in like an amazing way. Like, it's really hard to, in anime that I've seen in my career, I guess I was watching of it as an anime watcher, to see a show maintain its high stakes for so long and like not drop it, not completely drop the ball. So I totally recommend it if you want a good like like cat and mouse story. I like the way Mitt said that, peels itself off. It's really good. I think the characters are pretty solid. It's one of the better enemies I've seen in a show in a very interesting world. So I totally recommend the show. It made it up real high in my anime that I like ever. So
yeah, I do recommend it, but I'm about to be that person.
Be that person, my dude.
I am not the type of person who goes, oh, the manga is always better. Because I think there are tons of anime where they're far superior to their source material. In this case, I do think the manga is actually a lot better than the anime. And not that I think the anime is bad. I think it's quite good, and I enjoyed it. But there are issues with it that I think presented themselves from being adapted into animation. Because I think the manga does a better job with displaying emotions, and the shot composition in anime feels...
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that later, because there was a few comments I have to make.
Yeah, because you were also there for Manga Club.
Yeah, so Manga Club read chapters 1 through 17, I think, which is about half of the season, which gets to chapter 37 in the manga. The current manga is at like 140 chapters, so we're about a quarter of the way through what's currently out.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I will say before we get into spoilers that it does differently is that the director almost gives away twists with how he decided to have the camera lingering on certain characters. It was really unfortunate, but overall, I still think it's pretty good. The music, voice acting, and like camera placement during suspenseful moments was a big improvement in the experience overall. And it's a fascinating cat and mouse game with characters that you want to see win through this, or get through all of this safely. So if you can't get into manga, the anime is perfectly fine. But I do recommend the manga over this.
All right, we've tiptoed around it enough.
Yeah, it's time.
Spoiler it.
It's time.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
All right. Episode fucking 1.
Yep.
I lost it because I had no. Well, I didn't lose it because Manny had done a manga minute on it before, but even so, I still was like, oh shit, it just got real fast. How about you guys?
I knew what was coming, so I don't think the impact was very extreme. Okay. But I thought it was delivered well.
Yeah, I went into this completely blind, but the manga, when I went to the anime, of course, I'd already read it. But when I saw that scene in the manga, I was very surprised. But in the anime, of course, I knew it was coming, and I think it was still well done. I actually think in that moment, some of the how they reacted to the discovery of Connie being, shipped out as meat for demons was actually really well done.
I think so too.
I thought it was good. It was a good twist that makes you think, oh shit, this world is not exactly what we thought it was.
The anime wasn't as like brutally graphic as the manga was.
No.
But it benefited because of the saturation and use of colors. It made the first part of the episode so shiny and sunny and happy
shiny
that they really leaned into that aesthetic to lead you to that false sense of like, it's another happy-go-lucky show. Everyone's like, they were really able to make that twist more sudden. So it worked.
Yeah, because like a lot of the first half of this episode was a lot of kids laughing and playing. Like they really harked on laughing, playing, and like you said,
so much tag.
Yeah, so much sunlight, shiny sun on the sky, like clear blue sky, and then the nighttime was dark. Real dark
and full of terrors, one could say. But anyway, what happens in the show as we're like talking is that as we said, the premise is that this is an orphanage that's raising kids, and at the age of 12 they usually find parents, but what the kids don't know is that when they are shipped off to their foster homes, what's happening is that they are being killed and shipped off as meals for demons. Demons run this world, at least the world that they're in, as far as we know. And two kids grab a stuffed animal that belonged to the girl that's currently being shipped out. They want to go give her the stuffed animal, and when they get to the destination where the carriage is, they see her dead body and they freak the fuck out, naturally so, and they run back and they start to plot around the idea of escaping the orphanage with not just themselves, but with every kid at the orphanage, which is crazy. Yeah, which is
which is crazy.
Yeah.
I think what I understand, Miss, that there are definitely points of the show where logic leaps were totally made. I think that's super prevalent to me. Right after they tell Ray everything in the library, like with the books and stuff, I thought they were really jumping logic there. But overall, I think the three main characters, Emma, Ray, and Norman, were super solid. I love how the way they talk to each other. I love that they all have the things that they care about, their own values, and they all put them on the table and compromise and stuff too. I love the way those kids interacted, pretty much throughout the entire show.
I think the thing that frustrated me about this anime was, in a weird way, the people that were watching it, because like you can you can be like, oh well, oh sure, it's real realistic that Ray built a freaking device out of like nothing to like deactivate some tracking devices that he just happened to know were in their ears. And then people literally, their response is, they're all genius kids because they've been trained, they've been taking classes. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, then why don't they just build a rocket ship out of matchsticks like MacGyver and blast out of the orphanage? You know, because like some of the stuff is just like outlandish. Like it's like I get that they're smart. Like probably like let's just call them all geniuses. But like some of the stuff is just ridiculous. And it's like for them to put for the demons. And then it's like, oh, well, they have a library with books in it, and the books have all the information. I'm like, okay, so the demons that are smart enough to conquer the world and build like this huge compound, for lack of a better word, with like giant like concrete like walls of concrete that are like perfectly symmetrical or whatever the hell they were talking about at the end. The demons clearly aren't stupid. They have their own society, and you're going to give all the kids all the books that just happen to contain all the information they need to escape. Like, oh, that's smart.
Well, I think the information was coded. Like, we don't know who the ally outside the walls is.
Yeah, correct.
So that, it could be a demon ally, and therefore
there's
demons
somebody
trust
helping
him.
them.
Well, it might be it might be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that kind of like solves what you're saying though. Like it could be a demon ally that actually likes kids.
I think it's a reach to say, oh, it could be this.
I don't think that part's a reach.
It could be this, so it's that. But like the orphanage burned to the ground, so we're probably never gonna find out. But I don't know.
I don't know. This, so. I mean they're running. They made it out. So like who knows what we're gonna find out. But
and like, let's tie bed sheets together and throw them 70 feet to like wrap around tree limbs. Like, okay, but like, the person on the outside's feeding them superfood, so they can like, and are sending them bed sheets that are made out of like spider silk strength. It's like ridiculous. Like, get out of here. With that.
I didn't pick that up. Was spider silk a thing?
No, I'm being a sarcastic asshole because there's no freaking chance in humankind that they were ever going to get across that gap at the end. None of them.
Yeah.
And in fact, they would never have gotten on top of the wall. He Norman wraps the thing around the tree and like in some defiance of physics does a wall run and like ends up on. Get out of here! Like I'm sorry.
I think we're skipping over a lot of stuff though.
I know, but it's just
I think we're directly addressing the biggest hurdle that Mitz had with the series, which is like, that those leaps in believability.
The whole show
part
that was really a large leap for me was Ray not having he wasn't afflicted by infantile
amnesia or something.
Amnesia, yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah,
which means that he can remember everything from when he was still in the womb.
Yeah, that's convenient. Okay, so basically before we went off on there, what happens is that Ray, Emma, and Norman they start recruiting other kids to try and formulate plans to leave the orphanage. However, Mom, who is in charge of the place and is extremely loyal to the demons, catches whiff of all these plans through a spy, which you find out is Ray, because Ray's double agenting and whatever. And basically the story goes from there. Basically, Mom finds out, kids one up her, Mom one up them, kids one up her, Mom one up them, and these one ups is where Mitz is finding a lot of leaps of logic, because in order for the kids to one up, they come up with some pretty ingenious things. Ingenious things. I don't know.
You got it.
Yeah, I got it. You know what I'm saying?
L-like miraculous inferences.
They did. There's definitely a part. Honestly, I know I watched it 2 times. I don't remember, but there's definitely some parts that were definitely deep inferences too. But
no, you're right.
Yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, so I think the characters are solid. My favorite part of the show is when Norman takes his opportunity to he's about to get shipped off, and he takes his last chance to escape or to gather more information about what's across the wall, and then he just finds out that after the wall is just a giant cliff. I thought that was probably the part of the show that hit the hardest, because it's like, holy shit, like Norman's gonna make it out, at least he will, and then he'll like help from the outside, and then he just find out that it's even more hopeless. And the reason to me this works is because of what I mentioned before, where like the stakes in the show are always up. They're always up, and even when you think they win, they don't really win because again, they are kind of kids, and mom is actually good at doing her job.
This show does such a good job of like the push-pull between like small victories and big defeats.
Yes.
And like there's
100%.
the constant physical sacrifices of like broken bones, severed organs, and like sacrifices of like that all helps to like give you that constant threat, and everything is present and they're fighting against a force that is just so overwhelmingly more knowledgeable and experienced.
It's not very often that we see anime with characters who obtain permanent damage to their bodies. It's very rare, especially in a Shonen Jump. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of rare that we see people who actually end up with maiming themselves. And in this, in order to one up Mama, Emma ends up cutting off her ear that has the transmitter in it and putting in a place where Mama would distract her as the kids are running away. And that was, I don't know, that was interesting to me because I would never have expected that they would go so far as to cut off Emma's ear. Like that was just really surprising for me.
Is that not in the manga, or is that in the manga?
No, it is.
Oh, it's there.
Okay.
I'm just saying overall. Something that this, when I was reading the manga, I was actually pretty surprised that the traitor was Rei. But, and I did, read it before seeing this, but when I was watching it, I was like, every time that the subject of a traitor came up, it always focuses the camera on Rei and showing him giving them like, looking at them, and I was like, God, they're making this so obvious.
When I am with you because I think me and Mitch are the only ones that had not read this before. And I don't know about Mitch, but like I thought it was so obvious that it was Rei because of what you're saying. Because I'm also trained on reading camera movement and language, and like it was like you said, Mandy, like the word traitor came up. Ray's either on the background of the shot or in the foreground of the shot, but he's in there.
Oh man,
and
I don't notice stuff like that.
On him.
I don't notice things like that at all.
I didn't. I look for shit like that though. I'm looking for it. But so I'm with you. When they revealed Rei being the double agent, I was like, whatever. Like obviously they haven't talked about. They do try and trick you, making it sound like it's Phil, like the little baby.
Oh, the best boy.
At the end, because at first they tried to set up like, it's either Don or Gil, like these two other older kids. True. And they tried to set up a test for them that they failed, but then it's determined that Rei tampered with it. But then later on, our child,
best boy,
man of the hour, Phil,
everyone's son, dude.
Oh my goodness, who is in no way for, but I guess I just believe it. They set him up to be like a potential, like, mole of the operation. Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, I thought it was obvious that it was Rei. But I do like the double agent. It's also not super often you see a double agent in anime. So I think in general the writing for me is pretty strong in this show, aside from like the leaps of logic. But like Mitch said, like I was willing to like suspend my disbelief because I was so into the bigger idea of the show. Like the bigger premise was so captivating, and the emotional state I was in the whole time was just like I was having anxiety all the time watching the show. And I think Kazuo mentioned this in his impression, is all the Dutch angles of the camera. You're always looking at people through a gate, through a hole in the wall, behind pillows. Like it's always like a creepy-ish angle.
Voyeuristic.
Yeah, it's very voyeuristically shot. The shot of when Norman is walking to go fill a glass of water after he gets the news that he's getting shipped off, when that camera is behind him in the hallway, it is so creepy. Holy shit. And
it always gives you the feeling that somebody's watching them. Yes, somebody's always spying on them. And then you find out later there is somebody spying on them the entire time.
Yeah,
it's Sister Crone.
Yeah, it's insane. Sister Crone. How y'all feel about Sister Crone?
So go ahead.
I mean, like, I think I was trying to figure out why she was even there, but
the why is, I think the why is more simple than we think. I think the why is literally Mama was like, yo.
Yeah.
But like, it was an interesting form of help that she got.
Well, I mean, at first I was put off by her because she's just such a detraction from the tone that the show was having at the time, because she's just batshit crazy and like singing and wheeling around and swinging that doll around. I'm like, this is like crazy. Like, what is going on with this shit?
I think
that's one thing I wanted
to say what I was gonna say.
I'll let you take the credit. Go ahead.
Oh, we talked about this in Manga Club. That's fine. But so in the manga, all of the characters have really in-depth internal monologues. They're all constantly thinking. It's always giving you, narrating what they're thinking at any given time, and then, but that all that is removed in the anime, and I think part of that is to speed it up. But Sister Crone, she has so much internal dialogue in the manga. That whole thing with her having a doll and her being crazy to the point where she's singing, not in the manga at all. Not in it at all.
Okay, so they must have adapted it and used that as a mechanic to show her.
Exactly, because every other character has their inner monologue. So in the show, they just have them talk to other characters.
Right.
Sister Crone has no one to confide in.
Right,
so
right.
Inner monologues get brought out as this crazy
ramblings,
doll representation.
I see.
It was very silly, and almost in a way, it made me feel like she was less cunning than she was in the manga. She's super intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted her to be when Mom was like, "Yo, y'all thought you were cute. Well, now there's two of me." I was like, "Oh shit!" Like game over. Like, but then, with the way she was portrayed, I don't think it is a bad character choice to have someone that's kind of weird like that, because weird like that can also be creepy, and it did add some creepiness to the show. Like, like that. It's just she's off-putting, and off-putting was what the show was doing anyway. But I think there were more on brand ways to have done off-putting than like her character makeup. But I mean, in the end though, I thought she was I didn't dislike her though. I actually kind of liked her a lot by the end of her shtick on the show. But it was a strange contrast to the show. Yeah.
I mean, she plays a great wild card, and her physical ability is just so imposing that it's just a different sort of fare. And overall, I actually liked her backstory far more than Mama's, Isabella's. It felt way more.
I was very surprised to find out that Ray was Isabella's child. That was one of the things. There was constantly twists in this anime, and that was one of them that caught me really by surprise. Because until that moment, I never really got the feeling that they had a connection. And then it kind of fills in on a bunch of the scenes that you've already seen. You're like, how does she feel about doing this to her child? She's about to ship out her child. And it's just, it fills in Isabella, and it makes her feel, I don't know, more three-dimensional, where she's doing this because she has a job, but she is actually also broken up over it. But she has given up on hope. And I don't know, Isabella's a fascinating character.
I love Isabella a lot because in the last episode, when I think a solid chunk of the last episode is Isabella focus, which I thought was fucking sick. To give like the big bad, well, I mean the in context big bad at the moment, her so much time, it's almost FaceTime of the episode. I think her shit with Ray is that like I think she does care about him a lot, and that's why she was down to make him her spy, because, and from forever, like Ray was her spy for forever, not just like during this time, right? So, and I think that was her weird way of keeping her son close to her, and giving him presents, low key, and like and stuff like that. So like, and so when you take that in, after seeing the montage at the end, you're like, oh shit, she does care about Ray because that's her son. And then you think to the fact that, oh wait, but she's also the same person that was like, yo, fuck your plan, like I'm sending you out next, dude, on your fucking birthday. You're like, oh shit, like at the same time she has a heart, but she's like definitely on the demon side, 1000%. And it was really dark when I thought about that. I was like, yo, she's actually insane. Yeah, she's actually insane.
I think they're all insane, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure.
Something I really wanted to highlight, because I thought my favorite thing about this adaptation overall, thing that the manga can't get across, is how beautiful the music is.
Oh, dude, let's go. Yes.
That the manga can't do is Isabella's song. And her song is so haunting, but melodic and beautiful. And while, I don't know, it was weird because even though I'm looking at the screen, I don't feel exactly torn up emotionally over what's happening. It makes me feel sorrowful. It made me feel bad when I'm watching it. It gave me chills because it's so, I don't know, it was so
It's
haunting.
perfect.
And
They got the tone perfect.
throughout the show, we hear that melody in the background. And you're like, oh, it's just the background music. But then at the point where we hear Isabella humming it, it really adds a lot of depth to the to her character, like through all of those scenes. And the moment where she hears Ray also humming it back, it was just so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it really showed how important that melody is to Isabella and to also to Ray. And I thought it was so well done. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I loved it.
Something I noticed because I watched it, 3 fucking times. I've seen the first episode a lot more than 3 times, but I noticed that when she's shipping Connie out at the first episode, she's also humming her song.
Yeah.
And that fucked me up when I was like, oh wait, she's humming her fucking song. It's crazy, yeah.
So
This has a lot of layers, man.
While we're talking about the music, just the overall OST, it's done by Takahiro Obata, which is a pretty new guy. Like, he hasn't done much. And, like, besides that Isabel's song, which is great, like, overall, the OST is really great. It reminds me of the Yuki Hayashi, the guy who did the Haikyuu stuff. There's, like, a lot of rock and rhythm instrumentation incorporated to the orchestral works, and they're all pretty great. And especially the opening, which is Touch Off by Uberworld.
Yeah.
For some reason, both that and Dororo, they decided to go with like fire themed songs.
Fire.
And they're both phenomenal. And they're so catchy.
Oh man, that first Dororo song. I know we're not reviewing it yet, but man, it's fantastic.
For some reason, both fire OPs were both fire. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually sang that the Promised Neverland OP at karaoke last weekend with my meetup. Yeah, they love that shit. But yes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So yeah, I was gonna put a picture in our live stream chat on Discord. Something that I do think that the demons in the manga look so much more menacing. I don't know, they're not nearly as dark. Like, this is what they look like. And something that they do in the manga is that they give their names like these alien characters. So it also gives you a deeper feeling of these things do not belong in this world. They're so alien.
They're so weird.
But they didn't really do that in the anime, and I was a little disappointed with that.
So they definitely look worse in the anime, but the problem is also they don't move much. So we didn't get to see like how they could be more alien and like skitter or squirm about. Like, they were very stiff. So like they didn't get much out of them. I mean, talking about character design as a whole, I thought the designs of the characters were excellent. Like, the colors really popped.
Yeah.
Especially like with the all white
for innocence
that they were wearing.
White for innocence.
I'm really expecting later seasons for those to become like stained and tattered to really like capture their struggle.
Loss of innocence, baby.
I will say there is a serious case of Jay Leno syndrome going on, though.
There is, yeah.
All their
Jay Leno
mouths
syndrome
are just too high on the face, and they gives them this like immense like chins and like immeasurable smugness.
Oh my god.
And like, Isabella is great. She's like the best designed character of the bunch. Like, a lot of times when they make like the big like mother father character evil, they like contort and they give them like abnormal proportions to like make them seem larger than life. But she just has this like sinister gaze and like frightening calmness that gets conveyed. Yeah, her eyes are just so cold and calculating, while still like under the veneer of kindness. That like she is monstrous without like ever needing to like be constructed in that way.
Yeah, that scene where she confronts Emma, you get a feeling of that she is just gauging. She's, I don't know, like,
she is all knowing, dude.
Yeah, she's gauging how much Emma knows. She's trying to get information out of her, and her eyes are just so terrifying. Like, that part where it instantly switches to her staring at Emma, it gave me chills. Like, even in the anime, it was really well done.
Yeah, this is. I think that's like episode 2, 3, where Emma's like looking at the board, and she all of a sudden she turns
in the hallway.
Mama's there. Yeah, insane.
Why do you guys feel like Mama rushes to the wall to stop Emma and Norman and Ray? And I can't remember who else was there. Towards the end of the show, she breaks Emma's arm, breaks Emma's leg, and that whole confrontation. Like, do you think she's? I mean, because she's aware of the giant chasm that's on the other side of that concrete wall. So like, my thought is like, why even rush out there? Like, they can't get across it.
So I actually have two. I have two opinions on this. One, is because information is power, right? So the less they know, the less they can plan correctly. So strategically, you don't want them to find out that there's a gaping cliff out there, because then they can plan accordingly, right? So you just stop them from doing that entirely. Second, and I love that Mama makes me think this way, is that after seeing the last montage, and you see that Mama was one of the kids that attempted to leave as well, but then she was stopped by the cliff. I think she didn't want the kids to experience that loss of hope in a weird way. In a weird way, she was like,
"It's a good point.
Y'all don't need to. Y'all need to feel that misery."
Interesting.
Also, consequences. There is a very possibility that the demons will kill her, but also maybe all of the children there. We don't know yet
Right.
what the consequences of this is,
Yeah,
because
which
now
I'm
the
excited
secret
to
is
see.
out, and they don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah, dude, I love Mama. Fuck, man, she
Yeah.
really is like the one of the few villains ever that literally makes me question like what the fuck she wants in life. Like,
Yeah.
what is she up to? Like with this new presentation, obviously she's not good. She's let kids go for so long, right? But at the same time, she's so complex. I love her. She's
I mean,
great.
all three of the main heroes of this have such a great relationship, and it's the
Yeah.
crux of their internal relationship and team building and philosophies that oppose Mama. That lets me kind of overlook some of the irrationality or jumps in believability, because it's that core conflict between four characters who are all very solid
Yeah,
is what carries the show.
I mean,
100%.
it's pretty obvious that Mama's a broken person. Like, she's given up. She has no hope for
Yeah.
anything, because I mean, there's no other reason why she would be so willing to ship off her own child. And like when you think about her backstory and how she went through it, you know, she knows like there's no point resisting. So
Yeah.
why? And maybe there is a point resisting, but they broke her basically. She's a broken person. So like they own her. So to me, that's the long and short of it for her. It reminds me a little bit of like Handmaid's Tale. Some of the characters in there are like pretty broken.
Oh, I felt that vibe too. Did
Yeah.
you think? And this is like one of the darker thoughts. That the darkest thing to me about the show is the actual system in which mamas are created, where
Yeah.
like it's
pretty
actually
fucked up.
it's fucking crazy. And like, let me know if this is incorrect, but like my take from what the show presented was that they take like female kids, right, and they take them into their system, which to me is literally just a farm. Like they're literally growing
Yeah.
women up, right, and like they impregnate them to
Yeah.
produce more kids, but then also to teach them the sense of loss, so that they go through that shit, and then when they deport kids in the future, they don't feel anything because they're just used to
Yeah.
it. It's
Mhm.
so fucked. It's so fucked.
that
It's
doesn't
so
make-
dark, dude.
But that doesn't make any sense, because just because someone's pregnant and then they get their child taken away doesn't mean it's easier the second time.
Yeah, but
Does that ever get easier?
That is from our brain's point of view, where we haven't been through an entire system where your whole life you've been told, "Hey, this is normal."
Yeah, I guess.
You know? Yeah, gotta remove yourself from that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the other farms are like, because the farm that we focused on was known as the premium farm. All of these children are raised to be geniuses because they're very high quality meat, but a lot of the other ones are considered like factories. So like they're very low quality, and they're not as pricey. As
Where's
these.
that KFC orphanage?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's
the KFC orphanage?
Where is it?
Where's the Arby's?
Where's the Arby's? Where's the Arby's of it all?
So I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see what those are like. But yeah, the whole thing, when you really think about it and dive into it, it's really messed up and
super fucked.
I mean, the whole world, we've just scratched the surface on it. And they could take this in any direction, and it'd be interesting.
Yeah, which is why I'm so excited for season 2. I can give my final thoughts if we're there.
I just want to make one last quick comment on the background art, which is even though the show takes place in like a small area, it doesn't feel like there were a lot of reused shots, and the environment didn't get stale. And I thought that was really well done. Because that would have been very easy to just been like, oh, they're in the library again. Let's use the same library shots, or the hallway, or the. But even when they were like in their room with all the beds, like we got tons of different shots. We got a very good idea of like where everything was set up and how this room was placed within the house. So I like that.
I will
Okay,
say
now I'm
though,
done.
in comparison to the manga, though, those panels are
Yeah.
packed with details. That library is massive, so it was really weird seeing it in the anime than being like this really tiny library. I don't know. I feel like there is a lot less details than there is in the manga, but still good.
Still good. My final thoughts on this are, it is rare that I am fully captivated organically from start to finish of a show. Usually when I have to watch something for the podcast, I am, engaged, but 70% because story, because I'm watching anime, which I enjoy, and then 30% because I'm making myself be engaged to give, more complete thoughts. But this time, my first watch through, every episode that came out weekly, I immediately watched at work. I didn't even care where the fuck I was. I watched it no matter where I was. And then I needed the next episode because I just couldn't, like, it hurt me not to have that next episode. So when I watched it the second time, it amazed me how I was still attached to the screen. Like, I was watching it. So, like, I felt like I was watching it for the first time. And then I seeing my friends react the way they reacted. At Twist at the beginning, they were like, oh shit. And then at the cliff part, they were like, oh my God, this shit's hopeless. Holy fuck. I love seeing that in them, and it once again reminded me why anime is such a powerful tool. Is that, like, it can excite people and stuff. This show had great art, great handling of a premise, of stakes, a lot of thematic shit you could dig into, a lot of camera play, a lot of dialogue that I enjoyed, a real ass villain that I loved, which I don't get in a lot of mediums, not just anime. So for me, this show, like, fuck, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 fucking Demon Lords. I'm doing it.
I think you said it's one of your favorites now. So
Yeah, it's one. It's like
Demon Lords.
5 out of 5 Demon Lords.
5 out of 5. That's the Arby's deal because these kids are.
Yeah,
5 for 5.
5 for 5.
When I watched it after the second time, I like put it in my top 10 of all time because I just respect writing like that so much. If it's still there, I'll have to see, because I do think the leaps in logic kind of hurt it a little bit. But I did love this show a shit ton. Like, I'll stupid them out. Like, it's good.
For me, it's like I think the show is really good. I thought it got better as it went on. I kind of felt that the middle portion of it I found it a little slower than the other sections. But for me, the real problem is that, like, despite how good the music is, despite how likable the characters are, how unique the idea is itself and the setting that the show has, I feel like this is a show where it's like very strategic, and the characters are trying to outwit each other, and it's sort of mysterious, and you're unraveling things, and it's like, I almost feel like the kids have cheat codes in this, because, like, I get that all that is great, but like
It's on their neck.
But like when they magically just come up, when they magically come up with the answers to everything just out of thin air, and then like when the story writes this, like, I don't even know, 120-foot wide, like, bottomless abyss that they have to somehow get over, that has virtually no supporting structures whatsoever of any kind, and then they get over it with bed sheets and wooden coat hangers. Like, I don't know. It's like to me, it undermines the whole show, because it's like this show that's based about, like, oh, we're going to carefully plan and we're going to do this. It's like, well, fuck, you didn't even have to plan. You just use bed sheets and coat hangers. Fuck it. And by the way, wooden coat hangers ain't going to hold 130 pounds of people. This thing snapped like a twig. Like a wooden coat hanger is going to hold maybe 25 pounds at best.
Do you think those kids weigh 130 pounds?
I think that Emma... I think that
Right.
Emma, a 12-year-old child holding on to a 7-year-old child, might weigh 100 pounds.
I don't disagree.
And then I'm supposed to like the bed sheet's gonna wrap around the tree limb like 60 times so that it's perfectly locked in place, and then they had 120 feet of bed sheets, and then Mama didn't even realize that 120 feet times 4 of bed sheets were missing. Like, why do you even have 500 feet of bed sheets? And why are they able, like it's just, I don't know. I mean, I liked the anime, but like you made all these plans, and in the end, like, your escape was completely like absurd. So I don't know. I just assume season 2 will have the same amount of absurdity in it. Like, they're probably gonna they'll save the world because they'll realize like Ray will discover some formula that to a new chemical that hasn't been discovered by science yet that like he created with like popsicle sticks and yarn, and it just and made the planet uninhabitable for aliens. I don't know. I like the show. It sounds like I hate it. I'm gonna give it. Oh, man, it wasn't even a 4 for me as I was coming up on the end, but I actually liked like this, like probably from episode 9 through 11 I thought were like really strong, so I'm gonna give it 4. How the hell did you cross that ravine? Magical bedsheet ropes out of 5.
That's amazing.
And that's just my rant. Like, and
I am with you though. Like,
it's like, I don't want to be,
crazy.
and I just don't want people to tell me, oh, it's because they're smart. Like, get out of here with that. It's bed sheets. Like, you don't have 480 feet of bed sheets, and oh, mama, guess what? Every bed sheet in the house is missing. Like, why did that happen? Like, what could we use 500 feet of rope for? Like, I wonder. Like, I just don't know. Tetherball. We have a tether. We started an inter orphanage tetherball league. I just don't know. But I'm thinking too hard on it. I'm being too hard on the show. But whatever.
No,
Mason, you want to go?
Dude.
I will go. So I have interest to where this world will go. Like, even though the story is like clearly far from over, I thought where this anime decided to stop was still very satisfying. Also, I just noticed on our YouTube feed, it looks like I'm trying to eat the spoiler warning.
Yes, it does. It does. And the girl's like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
Oh
You
God,
can't eat
you're
that.
right. It doesn't.
Mason, stop eating
Anyway,
shit.
sorry. Back to this. The presentation of this through sight and sound was exceptional, and that core struggle through the 3 main characters and the caretaker was like memorable, and it's overall like a simple premise, and it was a fun time. The show has like a lot going for it, but unfortunately, I agree with Mitz. Like, a lot of the logical jumps and believability of the actions like were distracting, and being a manga reader, like some of the changes they made didn't quite make sense to me, and I thought it was for the worse. And overall, like the whole second half of the show just kind of fell flat for me and kind of lost some of the luster and drive that the first part did, especially with like the mystery, because they were making this up to be like a big chess match, and it was more like checkers, where it's just one move after another. It was like problem, solution, problem, solution. Wasn't too many like roundabout plays that were set up, which is when I want a show to pretend like it's clever, I want it to deliver that. So I originally watched this show like 5 months, like when it came out. Like, it's been a while. And originally when I watched it, I gave it a 3 out of 5. But like going back and going through all these points, like I had a lot more positive things to say about it than I think what that score indicated. So I'm going to bump it up to a 3.5 out of 5. But I will definitely be there day 1 for season 2.
Yeah.
And like 3.5 is a good score for me, and I enjoyed it. And definitely if I watched it in a marathon setting with other people, it'd be a grand old time. So
Mason, what are the odds that in the forest that they're in, they'll like someone's there and they're like, oh, I knew you'd be coming, and they just like find somebody who's been waiting for them, like that has all the answers?
You can't ask him; he probably knows.
Well, I think that's pretty much has to happen, because you just walked into a world conquered by demons, and so like they're gonna run into somebody immediately that's gonna like underground railroad them to safety.
For my sake, don't answer that question.
We will see.
There's no other choice. It has to happen. Anyway, but you can just be but that like that narrative right there just tells you how exciting the next season should be. There's a lot of interest.
Yes.
Mandy's like, you're all wrong.
Jump on board the train.
That's not true. I actually love this series. Like I said before, I will admit that I do like the manga a lot more. I just think the artwork overall was far more menacing, but the anime does do things that the manga can't do. For example, Isabella's song and the camera placement behind things to make it look like somebody's watching them. I think it was really well done. I am of course excited for season 2. I have read a little bit past this, so I know a little bit of what happens. I'm not caught up though, and I believe it is over, or they have announced the final chapter. I'm not sure. I can't remember if it's over or not. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say other than what I said during our review. So, oh man, I'm bouncing between a 4 and a 4.5. I'm gonna give it a 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5. Arby's people. Arby's factories.
Arby's people.
Arby's people factories.
You're so crazy.
The
Well,
4.5.
they're Arby's. I guess it'd be more like a 2 out of 5. But
Fucking oof.
Oh, I forgot about Phil. I forgot Phil. 7 out of 5.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Are
Phil
we
is the
rating
best.
Phil? Yeah, Phil's like 10 out of 5.
A hero.
We need the
Phil.
We need the Phil spin-off season when
Yeah.
he
That's what I'm talking
runs
about.
the show like an absolute hoss.
Well, he was.
Phil
want
is the
that.
absolute best boy.
Well, he inferred that the world was conquered by monsters merely from the word harvest and Mama being angry. So he's clearly the smartest.
Well, he is. Of course. Did you see that face?
I know, but
Boy.
Did you see those eyes, dude?
You see those eyes?
Anyway, guys, we
See
got to
those
wrap
fucking
this
eyes,
up.
dude?
We are approaching the longest podcast episode we've ever done.
Yeah.
What did the
Dumb
listeners
mouse,
score this? Dumb mouse.
The average from the listeners was a 4.5.
Excellent.
So pretty much everybody enjoyed this show,
That's
despite
pretty
how
fucking high for our
it
audience,
is.
I think.
It is. Despite how much shit I talked about, like the possibility of everything, like I am very excited to see the second season. You know, I wish it was coming sooner, but I'll wait.
Yeah,
All
We
right,
got,
guys.
sexy firefighters to keep us occupied.
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Are
rippling
we good
abs.
here,
Naked
guys?
firemen.
What's that?
We good?
We're
I
good.
said so many naked firemen.
Thank you guys for listening so much. You're all amazing. If you want to check out our website again, it's AAAPodcast.com. You can get all of our hentai episodes, which we're about to do one in a minute, and all the hobby addicts and the after parties on the website as well. If you want to join up and help support the podcast, and we're all on social media except Mason, I think still, which
Yep.
is fine, which
He's on our
is
Discord, though.
totally fine. But you guys want to throw out your Twitters and stuff or whatever you want to do real quick, and then
Yeah.
we'll roll out of
You
here.
can find me on Instagram and Twitter at ENZOBADIA, Enzo Badia. I'm so close to 1,000 followers on Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram. That'd be really cool. Thanks.
I am Mandy, AAA_Mandy, on Twitter.
With an I.
I talk about manga and games and other nerdy shit, mostly anime and ferrets. So yeah. Come say hi, and please come to Manga Club.
Mandy with 3 A's was taken.
Oh
Mandy.
man, that would have been a great one. Why didn't I think about it? This is why I need you to run my social media for me.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
Blind
Thanks so
leading
much
the
for
blind.
listening. We gotta roll out of here. It's craziness. But I hope you guys enjoyed. We're looking forward to the summer season getting ready to start, and you know, I'm excited for that. And next week we're gonna be doing a review on. Let me just look that up real quick while the music plays. Next week we are reviewing Kaguya-sama: Love is War. So
Heck yeah.
Ooh.
so
Let's
look
go.
forward look forward to that, and we'll
What
see you
a
guys
great
next time.
opening.
See you, addicts.
Have a good one.
Love you
Dum,
guys.
dum, dum,
Bye.
dum.
Peace out.